Yes, and welcome to another mind-blowing episode with myself, Underground Citizen, and the main man himself, Rainbow Storm.
Two main men in the house. Daz, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all others. How's it going out there?
So let's see
Wow,
who we've got. Yeah, we've got a
nice,
few in.
nice screen.
So yeah,
Good to
it's
see you, Daz. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Storm. Are you, buddy? It's been a lovely day today. The sun's out in the UK. Happy days for a
Same.
change.
Yeah, Zicto. Just loving it, mate. Just loving it out here. It's brilliant. Nice to see
Yeah,
the sun. Nice to get some time out there too on a Sunday.
I know. It feels like summer started, which is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So we've
Fantastic.
got some people in chat. Shall we say hello to them, Storm? Because
Please do.
we have
Carry on.
we spoke about this, haven't we? We feel it's important to get the people involved. I mean, the viewers are the most important thing because we wouldn't be here, would we? Really doing this without us just chatting, getting
Exactly.
so let's have a look. So I'll put them on screen as well so you can see them. Do you want to shout some out?
Yeah, what we got here? Mel, nice to see you there. What we got? All ready for this? Hi. Yeah, me too, Mel. I'm here too. I'm ready for this. Nice to see you. Who else we got? Hi, everyone. Nice one. Nice to hello, M.
And Thelmal Truitt, is that?
Nice
Can't
one. Well,
wait.
yeah, well pronounced. Can't wait. Yeah, me neither. Let's go.
Rachel Anderson and
Wicked.
claps, big up. Pink Soda. There you go, Storm. I've seen
Hi, everyone.
Pink
Nice
about.
one. Hello, Pink Soda. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all out there. Louise, hey, how's it going?
Mal, hi everyone.
Hello, Mel. Evening,
Rachel,
Rachel.
big up.
Julie, you see Julie Goring. Nice one. Hi, Julie. Good evening. How's it going?
Nice blue art.
Good, lovely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, sun shining. Angel. Nice.
Hi, all. Nice one. Hi to you. And hi to everybody out there.
Yes, Susan. Hi, guys. And Rachel Anderson. And hi, everyone, Rachel Anderson. So, yeah, we've got a few in. Great. So,
super.
Yeah. Where should we start, Storm?
Oh,
Should we start
at the beginning?
Yeah, at the very beginning. Now, last week we said about one of the comments about the bench. I mean, we're here again talking about Nicola Bulley, aren't we? This isn't going to be every week. Let's make sure we get that over, because it's just current at the moment, isn't it?
Correct, Daz.
So it's not something that we're always going to be talking about. Because we're just going over all ground. Now, we did discuss as well, haven't we, Storm? We've decided today that in the next week or so, we're going to get all the information that we can, and we're going to start from ground zero, and we're going to debunk the case, aren't we?
Yes, Daz. Yep, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, folks. Look, from every angle we've tried to look at, we've tried to make this a real live case. And even a lot of people have come in and said there is a grave and it's marked Nicola Bulley. There are people who have contacted us and said that they're this and they're that. And a lot of people involved have had this. But there's zero evidence. And in policing, when there's zero evidence, the case goes what's called cold. Mel, great. This needs justice. I agree. It
Definitely.
needs justice.
2 arts as well, brother.
Nice one. Thank you. What we're doing is we don't mean to disrespect anybody and get into some sort of conspiracy thing if there is a real case. But what we are saying at this point is enough is enough. If anybody has any valid, real evidence, in other words, right down to if you would like to invite one or both of us, we're willing to come and visit you in person and have a real interview in person to make this real for the rest of the world, because unfortunately there is no video evidence, there's no evidence, there's no witnesses, and the witnesses that were present in the beginning case that we all based our thesis ideas on, I don't want to use scenario, but I'm going to have to. Hypothesis. Oh, there we go. But we did. We based it on what we had, as you do, and what we had has been taken away.
Yeah,
So,
disappeared into thin air.
Daz, you couldn't have said it even. I couldn't have said it better, and you couldn't have said it better. It has disappeared into thin air. And folks, that and the other one we were talking about, Daz, with Paul Ansel earlier, just before the show.
Yep.
The fact that there isn't an ounce of evidence anywhere. There's
Nope.
absolutely zero evidence. So, as I was saying, what happens is the case goes cold, what they call cold, and it just sits in the filing cabinet. So, what we want to do is we don't want the case to go cold if it's a live case. So, if it's real, we don't want it to go cold. So, we will go as far as physically coming to you in the UK at your address. I would, at least, I speak for myself. Daz will probably back me up on this.
Mm-hmm.
And we will make this very real on this show on Mind Blowing for the world. But
We'll try to.
we don't tolerate any nonsense. We know exactly what is and isn't when it's raining and when it's sun
Yeah,
shining.
and that's what we're going to do, isn't it, Storm? We're going to go through it from ground zero, and we're going to look at the scenarios, because if it was a real, I mean, people are saying it's a bit like the Madeleine McCann case, but it isn't, because Madeleine McCann case actually got investigated. It was dusty for fingerprints. They had private investigators. They had actual police. It was a crime scene for a long time. They had sniffer dogs in there, and they went around the village, asked witnesses, they asked people to come forward if you were a witness. So yes, the scale of the case is Madeleine McCann. Now, it's lasted for so long, but the actual way that it was investigated is nothing like Madeleine McCann. I don't think there has been a case so big in the public spotlight that has been so big. And that's a question that you should be asking yourselves. And we did say, didn't we, Storm, that all it is doing is going round and round in a loop, in a circle, just like Paul said, didn't he? What did he
Thank
say,
you, Des.
Storm?
That's it.
What did he
Going
say?
round and round. We come to the same thing. We just keep going round and round in circles and coming to no conclusions and no solutions. It's just going round and round. That's because there's no and I don't know what he said after that, but it was supposed to be evidence in his interview. Yes, we all
Yes,
know
it
that.
sounded, yeah,
Slightly Freudian. Yeah,
but
Freudian slip.
it's so everyone's in a loop, and all they've got to do, and
In a
I'm
loop.
really shocked that, I know everyone's sort of, down that they're trying to find the answer to someone being involved, and it's Paul's done it, Emma's been involved, but like we said last week, there's a lot of variables that can go wrong in that scenario. You'd have to be really clever. This is almost like a military operation style event, isn't it? They've covered everything, haven't they? The police have got everything covered, their side of it.
We're going to come to that point, Angel. Just hang in there a second. We're going to wrap up this and come to that. Exactly. What we're saying, folks, is, and we mean no disrespect, there is not a shred of evidence that shows that this is a real case and there's a real person involved anywhere. But there's a lot of evidence pointing towards a classic PSYOP with crisis actors to fill in. And we can point those out all day, but we're really struggling to find any real, solid evidence other than what we've been given by the police. And that evidence, the Lancashire police, and that evidence has been retracted, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all the witnesses, all proven to be false in every manner, mean, and form. So
Yep.
we can't base our case on that or base any investigation on that. We have to go off other stuff. So do excuse us being void of everything, but we're trying to find the truth in a cesspit of lies.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're finding is we're going around in loops. As you said, Des, we're going round and round in circles, which was the second factor in this. The first factor you pointed out, things are vanishing into thin air. And this factor is we're going round and round in circles. That's perfect. Everything's disappeared and we're just looping around. We're not going to find out anything, are we?
And you know what? How many months is it going to be? From February, you're talking 8 or 9 months. This is going to last until they come to a conclusion of what it's going to be in the public's domain for like all this time. They keep shifting the goalpost, and we all know who shifts the goalpost, don't they? The ones, you hear it on the news a lot. The government is shifting look, we aren't saying that this is 100% what's going on, but how many times, how many months, how many weeks has this case been on YouTube, and there's been nothing, has there? There's been no, even, how come none of the villages have come forward and said, put yourselves in a situation in your own street. Let's say you've got sort of, and we're not saying anyone's, we're not blaming anyone, are we? We're not incriminating anyone, Storm. But if you've got someone in your street and there's something going on in that house, you'd know, wouldn't you? And you'd be like, you go to the press and say, oh, there's something not right about them too. There's something not right about him. You'd leak it, wouldn't you? It would be leaked throughout the village. If you thought that there was something going on towards a person, you would. I'm sure of it, Storm.
There's not a shred of normality in this case, Daz, as
No.
you say. And just to deal with, I think it was Mel before, the police, did they check satellites? I'm not sure of that. I don't know, but it's an excellent, I think you might be referring to phones and satellites and how everybody moved, which we did talk about, Daz. In fact, you pointed out everybody's, well, almost everybody's got a phone, most people.
Yep.
And whether you believe it's satellites or cell phones, there's some sort of detection that kind of watches where all those cell phones are going, which is the smart system. So,
and
who knows what? But we got told 3 witnesses, and then they disappeared. So, what the police are telling us is too vague to take as real. The reasoning, I think we coming to the understanding that it's a PSYOP. And just to deal with Maria Solar's there, I think
thank you, Maria, for that.
Yeah, appreciate that. I think Maria was the one, if I'm not mistaken, that took the film. Is that correct? That's the recent film at the river.
She did take the film. And which was great that came alive and alive the case again. And we've been talking about this, haven't we, Storm, about the camera. We've got one person saying there's no camera, and then I thought Maria did say there was a camera. And thank you, Maria, because I did email it into Storm, and kindly she's come on the show tonight. That was unexpected.
Much
there's nothing.
Appreciate.
Yeah,
much
definitely.
Appreciate that, Maria. Anybody who can swing either way. We're really at this point, I'm sure everybody's tired of, let's just deal with this gently, some of the YouTube loops that have occurred, and it's possibly distraction. So we want to shift that to the left and let it carry on. Nothing wrong with that. We just want to be over here in a clean space, in a new space, and kind of working out exactly what's going on now, because we've all got lives and we all want to justice for Nicola, or justice for what occurred here, justice for whatever is going on here.
Justice for us as well, Storm, eh? Justice for us, because we're the ones that are in the loop and wanting answers as well, aren't we? And it's kind of playing on people's minds, and even to the funeral, I thought that was terrible that some of the villagers who stood there with the posters didn't get the chance to say goodbye. That was a big red flag for me. But getting back to the, so we've got all these, what we're going to do, and I think we need to do like a crime board, don't we? Like you see in, like in what the police have, a crime board, and they sort of have a timeline, and they have a tree, and that's what we need to do, and break it down and see what we can come up with.
Brilliant, Daz. Where else I've seen one of those trees is in a play, in a theater, where you have the director, and then you have the managers, then you have all the theater actors and their positions and all that.
Oh, really? Is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, very similar, isn't it? So everybody's in their position, in their place. It's kind of like a movie, Yeah, your ex is over here, and your ex is over there, and here's your script, and here's your script, and you all say these things, and don't forget what you've said. And if you do, don't worry. Watch the cameraman carefully. He'll prompt you. Like when Paul Ansel comes to his interview, where he stumbles and he says basically this, that, and then he stops, and the guy goes, and don't forget hope. And he goes, oh yeah, we won't forget hope. Of course, there's
Hmm.
always hope, isn't there? Oh, I nearly forgot hope.
Yeah,
Come on,
it
come on, come on.
it
Hmm,
it's yeah, there's too many questions, isn't there, Storm? And
hmm.
for whatever it is, I mean, you know, in a normal investigation, there would be something by now,
Uh,
without a doubt.
there's nothing
Um,
normal about it.
I'm just trying to think. I just lost me focus there a little bit, Storm. It's hard, isn't it, doing the stream? But you know, you've got so much information to talk about. You know, write stuff down, and we want to go over so much. But you know, and I think all this, everything, the CCTV footage, it's so low
Uh-huh.
resolution. It's not possible today to have that kind of low resolution to make it look like that, is it? Really? I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Storm? The resolution of the CCTV footage.
Well, I can put it into live terms. Went out with a client the other night, and they showed me their phone and went, "This is what's going on at my place right now. In this position, this position, this position, this position."
Wow.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Chris,
Okay.
crystal clear, just like you were there. So
So all these points we'll go over, won't we? But like tonight, we're just putting that out there, and we have got some. You know, there's loads of questions coming in already, Storm,
maybe
and
let's dip into those.
yeah, let's just have a look where we're up to. So thanks for that. I mean, that's great.
Yep.
So I got a photo of the school camera. So there's 100% a school camera there. There's a school CCTV footage, and
So
you
then you
would
have
think
to
there would.
ask immediately.
Sorry.
You have to ask that. No, exactly, Daz. What you going to ask? Why isn't there footage? There must be some footage. Why is there a camera there? If it's what is it? Functional, dysfunctional? What is it? Which direction is it pointing, and why? You know
Um, so let's have a look. And some of the photographs as well. Why hasn't Port Anson gone off on one trying to find out? Yeah, that's another thing. Something we talked about. Okay,
exactly.
he's telling everybody that she's not in the river, so he's contradicting the police. Then, when the police, well, whoever the situation was Nicola was found. You know, rest in peace. Whatever was found in the river, then oh, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Accepted.
Accepted. You know, why would you be? What I mean, Madeline McCann's family weren't accepting anything, were they? And would you? Would
I,
you?
I agree, exactly, Daz. I agree with Rachel Anderson. I agree with you completely. Look, I just put myself in the situation, and I hope we were never in the situation. But if you were in the situation, your partner, your of it's almost as good as your wife, 12 years, you've got children, goes missing. What do you do? I'm not sure because I'm not everybody. Each person's individual and has their own way of grieving or taking control of a difficult situation or not taking control of it.
Hmm.
Myself, I would go to starvation and death. You would have to come and feed me along the way. It would be like a marathon
Hmm.
until I found the answer.
Yeah,
Now it's the
exactly.
same. Yeah, we're doing the same thing. You were saying just a little bit before that we we deserve justice. I think what you meant is we deserve a solution. We
Yes,
deserve an answer.
that's
We
the one.
need to know the finish. We need to close this circle that we just took 3 months of our lives out and presented a lot of time, effort, and research to, believing we were looking for justice for a real person called Nicola Bulley, and in our adventure and search, we seem to have come to understanding a much larger picture. In fact, somebody put it beautifully. They said, "You are stirring a teacup infinitely bigger than a storm." Storm in a teacup, and the teacup is infinitely bigger. I hope I said that right, but something to the effect of those words. And I agree. I think we stepped out to sort of be as labeled as armchair detectives. Sadly, YouTube researchers and investigators is a more respectful term. Just researchers and investigators, private investigators on YouTube, doing our best to help. And
Help. Yep.
yes, help. And in that effort to help, we discovered that perhaps it's not exactly what we were led to believe it is, and it's something much larger that goes all the way up the ladder, right
Hmm.
to members
The
of
top.
parliament, Home Secretary, and what we're going to go into with that in the AI explanations and the introduction of regulations.
Exactly. And the thing what we want to do as well, because people don't understand like a PSYOP, really a PSYOP, there's a few different PSYOP scenarios, isn't there? And we're going to
Right.
talk about one, a big famous one, and there's been a couple actually, hasn't there? I was
Phew.
involved in one in London, and I was talking to Layla. She was actually on the BBC, and she was on about the can I say when this incident happened in London, and a few things got blown up. We all know which one it is. We have to be careful, don't we? We have to how we tread on this. So, and that was to get people on side to go into for the war. They do it to get public on side a lot of the time, don't they? Public gain public opinion so they can go ahead with their agenda. Okay. So it's a lot for people to take on board, isn't it? As well, Storm. If you're not if you don't know nothing about it, that's what I'm saying. Not, saying that people in here don't, but if you if someone's put here, what's the PSYOP for digital ID? Well, I think it's more to, and I don't know your thoughts, Storm, but maybe to try and shut YouTube down because they've got no control over YouTube, have they, on what can be said? This channel, for example, we could be discussing a case that's very close to the people at the top, and we could discover things that could incriminate them, and wouldn't like that, would they?
Correct. So, hi, Trisha Gelder, numerologist intuitive. Nice to have you on. Trish does great work out there. Respect.
Yes, she
What's the
does.
PSYOP for the digital ID? The PSYOP for the digital ID sector of the PSYOP, which I don't think is the PSYOP. We've got a slightly different push on that, but it may be part of the PSYOP. The PSYOP is a little bit
Hmm.
bigger. To put it into very simple words and into a simplistic form, that the highest form of the PSYOP is finding an acceptable introductory format for the civilians, the Western civilians, to accept social crediting systems via Serco, and the WEF will be running that. Will be like the Serco police, Serco online police. So that's the highest form. Part of that was set up during the 2019 CV that we all went through. And in that system, we had a track, and everybody knows the other word, system that was introduced by the company Serco. Now, that was a test run for what's to come.
Hmm.
And what's to come is the full social crediting system. And that
Hmm.
was just, as I say, a test run. And that also comes in with the 5G system. So all the smart systems, that's what it'll allow in track and trace and Circo. And of course, that has to be run on an ARGBT format. So
Which, interjecting, Storm, we've been talking about this, and for a lot of this might sound far-fetched, and this is a problem because of predictive programming, what it's called, people. If most of you will know, but a lot of you might not. It's the way that the TV, and it's been MK Ultra. You can go look at it. They've been working on it for years to control people. It's all about control at the end of the day. So the Nicola Bulley case is it's a microscopic an event. It's big, but it's microscopic really compared to what's really going on. And on this show, we will talk more in depth about it for the people who are interested in it, won't we, Storm? But
yes,
at the moment, it's Nicola Bulley, and we just want to get out there and try and show you guys, that look at all the different variables of which way it can go. Sort of, well, if Paul's done it, then the variables of it. It's just we're not now, are we? But we are going to go through it, Storm, aren't we? And present a
exact,
debunking show.
absolutely does. And just to wrap up that ID, So just to bring in that ID, the final bit of that circo and the downward of the pyramid control from the WEF, the WEF, down through circo, down through T and T, let's call it, the track and T and T. So we come,
Social D.
yeah, that one. So we come down through the network, and the ID fits in a format of the digital ID being kind of the revelatory biblical revelation from revelations in the Bible, the biblical revelatory form of the mark of the beast on the wrist. Well, it's slightly different, but it's just near the wrist, is where the ID, the chip is injected, and that's your digital ID. Now,
Right, I see. So that's the idea that Tristan was talking about then, probably was
exactly.
that. Right, understand.
Now,
Yes,
some people don't
good
know
point.
this. In the 2019 PSYOP, and that's what it was, folks. You have another name for the CV, but we call it S, PSYOP. It starts with an S, not with a C or a V. In that 2019 experiment on humanity, um, what what happened is the introduction of the TNT system came in two formats. There was a double experiment. One was what was given out in an injection form by
Hmm.
three companies that we all know about, mostly. The other one was done in Sweden, and it was exactly the opposite. So it was the obfuscated version, or the dual version, the exact opposite version. No regulations, no social distancing, no nothing, no regulations whatsoever. But the offer of the digital ID.
Hmm.
So, and it was taken up. And I know from following it very closely that it was seen as close as the old Tupperware parties that my mom used to have back then, which were great. They were great fun when everybody came round. But it was seen as that. So you had a digital ID party. So everybody would
Right, yeah.
pitch up in a room, meet up, and they would have their turn, called out, go up to the front, sit down, have the implant, just a little injection, kind of like a Botox or something. Not that I've had mine recently, and and go back to their
Paul has
seat.
on his eye.
Go back to their
Sorry.
seat, and and everybody would clap, literally, and that's been going on. So in
So it's
Sweden,
out there. It is out there.
the experiment was exactly what Tricia said, the digital ID. The
Good
rest of the
point, Trish.
world was a different way of introducing a very similar chip, but in a nanotechnological form. So we can go into
Mhm.
that another time. Otherwise, we're going to get lost from the real
Yeah,
questions.
we're going down that rabbit hole, aren't we? So let's just have a look. So this is an interesting point. Do you want to read this one out,
Yeah.
Storm?
Thanks, Evian Lane. Did I say that right?
I think so, buddy.
Evian
Yep.
Lane. I've emailed an investigator who worked on the Delphi case. I'm not familiar. She's
Nope.
interested in this case. Okay.
That's
Um,
interesting.
is that an American case, the Delphi case?
Can
Um,
you tell us a little bit more, please, about that?
Thanks,
Please let us
much
know.
appreciated. Just
Um,
folks, just understand that I don't know, Daz. I can't speak for him, but I can speak for myself. Um, my essence is in finding. That's really what I do. I use myself to find. I'm not really, as I said right in the beginning of this, into the investigation. But for some reason, many of us got dragged into this investigation,
mhm,
and literally and physically, people got dragged to the place, to the location known
mhm,
as these big bad TikTokers. That is very, very strange. I think last week we spoken of folks. That is amazingly odd. We need to
mhm,
focus. That is odd. What magnetized people? What drew people together? A kind of explosion would push people away. They would run, as you do. Clever, of course, do that. But what would draw people, like implode them into one space? So many people over one idea, one person
yep.
to one
Internationally as
location.
well. not
So
just
you have
national, not just local. It was international. It's and the PR in behind it as well. You know, all the PR has been, you know, it hasn't been an accident, has it? It's definitely, you know, you can't get that kind of PR in to, you know, some politicians, you know, doing a speech. Sometimes it's gone international, hasn't it? It's just crazy, you know. And YouTube channels are on about it in other countries, trying to find evidence, you know.
right,
And
right, okay.
this is why I was saying to you, Storm, as well. Could it be sort of, we've got GPT? I'll show you a little bit about GPT, because
Mm,
it's a new computer system, isn't it? That's out there, and it's buried within the internet, etc. and etc. And it's the new AI, isn't it? Artificial intelligence. Now, I was thinking as well, could it be a part of a way of gathering data mining to actually learn GPT on how to, you know, on how to investigate something like this? Because the amount of information that it would gather from this scenario would be overwhelming, wouldn't it? You couldn't actually produce, you couldn't program as much information, but us, the YouTubers and the social media, is programming the GPT into a crime scenario. And if they want to start using it to investigate crime, they've got a perfect opportunity here where they can use it, and the GPT could be learning from it, the AI system. You know, there's that side of it as well, isn't there, Storm?
so that's exactly where we wanted to delve into. What we need to, I think this is going to drive the world crazy. It's going to drive everybody insane unless we really
Drove
get
me
into.
crazy.
Yeah,
I can see
Daz,
everybody getting crazy.
Me,
Channels are arguing over it. It
Daz,
reminds me. It's
what is
crazy.
what
Oh,
is going on, Daz? Are you
where's the
right?
love? You know, it's like, it's mad, isn't it? It reminds me of going back 3 years ago when the scammy Ronic happened, whatever it was. You know, you saw on social media, everyone was arguing. People were defriending people. They were arguing all the time. It's my opinion, my opinion. But like at the end of the day, everyone's got their own opinion, and why can't everyone just gather together and have panels like this and chat, even if it's outside the box? Let's get some of the channels on and say, oh, well, your PSYOP theory can't work. Well, come and talk to us, question us, so we can
You're
try and
welcome.
find out which way it can go. But they're not touching base on it, are they? And it's a shame, because it does happen. And I think on this link, I think this is where we should prove how deep a PSYOP operation can go. Storm, you've got something to show us that's very, very revealing, isn't it?
Absolutely agreed. I thought you were
Are
going to
you?
say before it's like one flew over the cuckoo's nest, or or or,
That's
or the movie K-Pax. So that's just as
um,
good.
you know, and all these films. I mean, the GPT computer program. I can show you some stuff here. You can actually ask it to produce a film, characters, images, and a film, and it will do it. Now, some of the images I've got them ready on to Storm to show us a bit later on. After what I think,
Excellent.
if
Yeah,
you're ready to
yeah.
show,
Little
you know,
intro.
yeah. I don't know. Do you want me to
I'll go.
show?
No,
I
I'll
mean,
go for it, and then we'll get to them. I'll just say something about get back to your 7-7, Daz, because you were quite involved at it. You on the
yeah,
radio and stuff, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I hopefully have this set up here. I've got little pointers. I mean, this is just popped up. Let me just screen share. This
Because
Nicola Bulley.
we're going to
Um,
take it back a bit further, folks. We're going to go all the back to 2000. We're going to start at 2000, 23 years, just a little venture back to down PSYOP Lane. If anybody's interested,
yeah,
now's the
and
time to get prepped.
yeah, just you know, hopefully we would have brought you to this point and opened your mind a little bit. It's just a matter of opening your mind a little bit and thinking outside the norm, isn't it? Because they've really dumbed us down not to think that way. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Can someone tell me, please, if we're getting an echo off Storm? So because I
I
don't
agree,
really want
Mel.
that
By the
to
way,
happen.
you know
So
they're always sorting out the next crap, lining up the next little
Storm,
move. You know.
can you just check,
Yes,
make
yes,
sure
we're
we're
there.
not getting any echo? Have a look on chat just to make sure. Is anyone getting any echo? Because I just want to show you this picture of Nicola Bulley. Is that on screen, Storm? Can you see that?
I'm just going
Nicola,
to drop down to get chat on screen. Daz, 1 sec, bear with me. I'm not seeing chat, but are you doing very well with your zooming into your
right.
to your?
So
That's
we,
all working perfectly.
we were talking about this, weren't we, Storm, about the photographs of Nicola.
Yes,
And
Daz, I'm just going to go back to full screen, and I will only see banner. So you just let me know. Just banner up the questions, and I'll see them there. Thanks, Daz.
okay, so hopefully that will be zoomed in now.
That's
Can you
zoomed
just
in,
check?
Daz.
Cool.
Beautiful, Daz.
So we both looked at this, didn't we, Storm? And what we saw is on the right hand side is there we've got some trees and some, it looks like it's, in the area of the river, doesn't it? What we've
Some
all
sort of
seen.
woods, some sort of trees and ground, and a rock, I think. Yep.
Yeah. Now this side here looks like a drive. It's almost the grass is flat and there's concrete.
And there's one other thing, Daz. If you look in, when I say top left, Daz, where do you go? Top left. Where's your top left?
My top right is there.
Is that your right? Okay, top left, other side.
Okay,
But
that's my left.
both of those points. You see that one there, that so-called tree looks like a grey pole or something. But this tree on the right looks like a tree. There's totally different
Yes.
grain. The grain of those two images is totally different.
So it's something not right, is there? If you took Nicola away from this picture, what would you see behind? There's concrete there. Where does the concrete end? It's so
I
strange,
think
isn't
you would
it?
probably see a split with two different photographs connected behind there.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like. I stand to be corrected, of course, but that's odd. That looks completely and utterly different.
And let's just go to another one. Where are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's happened here, folks?
There's another one here, isn't there? This one here as well.
What is going on here? Somebody explain this, please.
Let's just zoom in a little bit more. So, can anyone explain, please, what's behind Nicola? Does anyone get any ideas at all?
It just looks wrong. It looks completely wrong. If you zoom in on the right, there's about hat height, and then on the left after, once you've had a bit of a time at that, looks like a bit of a river there. I don't know which river. There's not much of a demarcation. Maybe something at the end.
But where's the green? Could
Well,
this must be a different location? I would
yeah,
imagine.
because that's not what I agree. I agree. That's not what I used to see when we. If this is the embankment behind Nicola's hat on your right, then that doesn't look right, Daz.
No, and then if we come down, I know the sun can catch the air color different, but it's almost ginger there, Nicola's hair, and then on the this side, she's got sort of ash colored hair. Now, somebody, I don't know, could that be the sunlight catching it that's making it ginger? Would it make it that ginger?
So anybody into photography could tell us about that. I can't. I
Yeah,
can just see the more
please.
obvious things, like the top left of her hat. Yeah, just on the top left now. Is that a motorway? Is that a double? Is that a double motor?
I don't know. It's really strange, isn't it?
If you could just go to the top left as like you did on the right, so the other side,
Oh,
and
one
just
second.
expand. That's cool.
Let me just.
Yeah.
Still getting used to this.
Yep.
So
Yep. Brilliant.
we've got
So
that there.
So pan left,
Okay. Just
please.
need to jump out of it. 1 second.
Nice one. That's
zoom
it.
in.
That's it. That's it. What is that? What is that?
Oh,
Because
1 second. There we go. Don't it looks like mountain range? I get that. There.
I'm struggling to work out what that is, and again, I'm having a depth problem. This seems foreground this time, and if you go to the other side of Nicola's hat, it seems like a background. The pictures they seem distorted. For instance, we all know the river, so if you look at the the depth of the river, like where it is just down that bank. Slowly pan to the left and imagine what you think you're going to see. You should not be able to see the river, just the bank.
Yeah.
But
It's just,
but you see, I don't know what you see. What is that we're seeing? I don't really know
it's
what we're seeing.
it's just odd. It could be all or nothing. It's just things we're seeing, isn't it? So we're just putting them out there, Storm, aren't we?
Yeah, not trying
On
to get
these.
into details and arguments and discussions
No,
about it's just this is
we're not forcing it onto anybody or anything. It's
it
just things
doesn't
we
seem like
see.
it matches up those pictures anyway, and that one really doesn't seem like a match. So
You
folks, what
know.
we're trying to say in general, we don't want to get into the details of things, is in general, these pictures all looked fake from the beginning. And I know we all spoke about filters and like filtering out and making
Mhm.
yourself look beautiful, but it looked a bit more than that always, and it still looks more and more that it's
I
odd,
mean,
odd, odd.
you,
So
I mean, she is,
honest,
beautiful, and a lot of people have said, the pictures are all beautiful. She's a beautiful looking girl,
they're very
but
beautiful, but maybe too beautiful, perhaps.
her skin's so perfection. I mean, I don't know. It could be filters. I mean, please, someone with photography. We don't want to be one of these channels that saying, "Oh, we're trying to get everyone go down this."
Not at all. Please don't
So
take the details are not important. The general idea is important. Is Nicola Bulley a real person? Do we have a case and an investigation? And does anybody please have any very real evidence so we can begin to investigate? Because if none of that comes forward, including what somebody mentioned before, sorry, I didn't catch your name, I can't remember it. The comment was the mother's behavior. The mother's behavior was extremely odd.
there we go. I've got to Ali
Thanks, Ali
Jones.
Jones. Nice one. Go for it, Daz.
Um, yeah, please carry on, Storm. You're in the flow there.
Nice one. I feel the mom was strange in that interview. Literally didn't say a word. She didn't. I'm a mother,
Hmm.
and I just found it really odd. I'm not a mother, but I'm very connected with my empathic side.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I had a mother, like everybody did, and watched her grieve through life in many cases and understand completely, literally, experientially, exactly how one loses a loved one and goes through it as a family and grieves and reacts and searches and looks and accepts when one doesn't find and the truth is not what one wants. I understand
Yeah.
how this goes, this flow, and what you're saying is categorically correct. Why did mom sit and not say a single word? That is not possible.
The dad did look upset. I did see an emotional reaction in his face. Now, I don't know about that. And then you've got the sister that was completely opposite. And I was thinking the dad felt really uncomfortable the way she was being, because if it was a case of, look, this is how we want you to be in front of the camera, let's say the R crisis acting, to say, and she was being laughing and joking, that isn't going the way that situation should have happened, because she should have been a bit more. She kept going in and out of her emotion. Now, this is a very good point here, Storm, Pink Soda. If it's a psyop, does it mean Nicola is still alive and on hiding? I don't understand. Do you mind if I just elaborate on that, Storm?
Please do, Daz,
Um,
please.
what I wanted to say as well is, people are going to say, well, oh, it's going to get leaked into it, Storm. If it's a psyop, someone's going to say something. Would you believe them? If someone came out from the village like we are today saying it's a psyop, who would believe them?
Yeah,
Who would? And if she is in hiding, who would? You could go to anywhere. You could go to Egypt. You could go to some country where she's not known. Because what, in 18 months, this will be forgotten, won't it? When they want it to be forgotten, it be forgotten. And if you
correct.
recognize her, you're going to go, I've seen Nicola. I mean, she could. There's plenty of places that she could go, isn't there? If she is alive, that is. I'm not saying she is, but just that the questions come up, Storm. What's your thoughts?
Again, we come to the same The same question, Daz. If Nicola's a real person, we've got to deal with one side.
Ah,
If she's not a real person, we need to deal with it another way. It's simple.
yep,
So the
true.
question, yep. So the question comes down to what Pink Soda's saying here is, if it's a Saab, does it mean Nicola is still alive and in hiding? What it means is, if Nicola was a part of the PSYOP, meaning she was one of the crisis actors in the PSYOP, then she
Good
will
point.
be wherever an actor goes once they finish their role. If she was simply an actor, she would they don't get that paid that much. They have to go on to the next role, so she'll be on to the next job. It's business. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now saying that, that's not just speaking out of turn. Some of the interviews, particularly with, I'm not sure if it was Rachel, but it was a lady with a black hat on with blonde hair. There seem to be a lot of those around here. It's kind of confusing.
Ah, I know which one you mean. The friend.
And she had an interview, and at the end of it, she looked up to the presenter and said,
Mm-hmm.
"Is that okay?" And if and now, folks, if you're very careful on the sort of behavioral science and watch carefully, in general, if that was an interview and she was a grieving friend, as she's claiming to be, the good friend or the close friend and grieving, obviously, it wouldn't have been sort of, "Is that okay?" Like a business deal. It would have
Mm-hmm.
been like, Is that okay? Have I done all right?" Like you're grieving.
Naturally.
You don't have energy for business or for being perky. You are grieving. You are in a real state of shock. So some of the interviews along the way and some of the way people present themselves allude to this idea of a psyop, and some of the lack of evidence, like no CCTV,
Mm-hmm.
no real witnesses, and then witnesses appearing, disappearing, and all the rest we've spoken about,
Mm-hmm.
allude to the fact that something very large and not real is going on. So just to
Mm-hmm.
wrap up the point, if Nicola was a crisis actor, yes, she would be on her next job. If she was a real person involved, and that's proven she's a real person, then I'm going to have to go down the line of, she's sadly and respectfully, she has been ritualistically murdered, because that
Mm-hmm.
aligns with the timing, the calendars, the moon,
Yep.
astrology, the area that's run by the Masons, which has an occultic side. They also have a social, charitable side. I'm not just writing them off completely, but on the higher levels, we do have this occultic side. But there are other occults in that area that are also working, which we call the Illuminati. And we know that they work through celebrities. And we know that Emma's has a celebrity link through Dan Walker and Strictly
Mm-hmm.
Come Dancing and her hubby Ed. And it goes up the ladder in that family, etc. We know they have
Yep.
all the media links to cover a psyop. So usually, folks, when all the things are in place, it's usually that's happening. Put it this way. If somebody goes to a garage and they set up balloons and a system and they glitter and everybody and they make invitations and invite 50 people, it's probable they're having a disco in the garage, no?
Yep. Makes
Yeah, well,
sense.
exactly. So when you see all the balloons and the party things in place for a psyop, it's kind of probable there's a psyop.
The same.
In,
Yep.
in respect, though, and just to close it up, sometimes, folks, a psyop piggybacks on a real event. No disrespect, there may still be a real event involved. We just don't have any evidence.
Just like the other psyops, people have been, murdered in the Monday, and that again is going, way down the rabbit hole. That's for ritual and that's for sacrificing. So yeah, even on the big events, and we'll get into that, won't we? And a bit later on, we're going to get to that the
Yep,
massive one.
yep, it does get
Um,
bigger.
but if she, if she is an hiding, and then the time will tell. If in sort of a year or something, Paul disappears and he goes to live somewhere else, you know. But that is the big question. You recognise Paul, but look at the old photographs of Paul. I've seen some. You wouldn't even recognise him. He's rocked up. He's got a beard. He's got hair. He's disguised. You could easily, you can have facial reconstruction today, can't you? If you've got the money, you
Of
could
course you can.
easily not look like that person. You know, people are
Absolute.
having it done.
Easy.
You know, so
Disguise. Of course, Daz. That's all easy. Yep, you're right.
you know, so there's that as well. So we are going to try and like put this into like a trick, aren't we? So that people can help us between us. We will, you know, try and, you know, get to it. And,
We will.
you
Just
know,
to say,
yeah,
sorry to
carry on,
interject,
Storm.
Daz. Sorry to
No,
interject,
you go.
Daz. Just to say there, in closing that off, like we are in a investigation. We are discovering. We are asking for teamwork. We are inviting information. We are not concluding or saluting or saying what is correct.
No,
We are attempting to close the circle and find what occurred here. We're trying to investigate what actually happened. Like what was the mechanics of what occurred here. So that's all we're up to.
because it's not like a normal scenario of
Oh,
someone, because the police told us from day one, when everyone's been over this about the river, the police told you the end of the story before the beginning, and they were confident with that. They kept saying she's had an accident, she's in the river, she's in the river. It's almost as if just wait, just watch, give it a week or two, and we'll show you, that she's in the river. Just, and that's what we're saying, she's in the river. Paul's like, no, she's not in the river. You know, so they're making this scenario to be confusing for us. It's almost like a drama series, isn't it? When you see us on TV and you can't wait for the next episode. Oh, what's going on here? The next episode, dragging you in, sucking you in, reeling you in. That's what they've done. And then they've asked for
correct.
the public's help, asked for everybody's help, and then it's like, oh, well, you lot now, you know, sorry, but you're actually giving the family stress. Go away, leave us alone. We don't want you no more. Do one.
So
Sorry to
isn't
be
that
blunt.
no, that's a very interesting point, Daz, right there. Brilliant. Why would any investigation of the police in a case where they don't seem to have any evidence or answers, why would anybody anywhere be a problem trying to help? Why?
Exactly. When they've asked
Exact
for it,
when they've asked for it, they
yeah,
asked the public for help.
far
So
and wide.
the like, you know what it's like, Daz? It's like somebody asks you, please, could you carry my bags across the road? They're a bit heavy, yeah. And halfway across the road, thief, thief, he's a thief. He's stealing my bags. And you're like, um, and you're right in a pickle, aren't you? It's the same nonsense. It's
It is.
it's sucking you in and
Mm-hmm.
spitting you out. And I think that most of the channels now have been going around and around in this loop, not getting anywhere um, for a while. And I think we should all work together, as we said on the
Mm-hmm.
last one, to
Definitely.
focus on what the hell has really gone on here. Because, Daz, it's more important. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's way beyond one individual or one woman or one Nicola Bulley.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really interesting phenomenon that has occurred here, folks.
Mm-hmm. Global.
It's on an energy level or on a electromagnetic level or on an active denial system level, which is a military like a microwave technique. Somehow, folks, many people for the first time in history, and I mentioned this before, got sucked to one place for one reason. For me, that's the biggest giveaway, yeah, that has never happened. That shows me that there's some sort of attractive force that occurred here, and that usually leads to what's called neuro linguistic programming, where one has had an image put in their head so many
Mm-hmm.
times that as soon as they see that image is a trigger. Sometimes you have torture and trauma attached to subliminal images of that, and then it becomes a trigger. And as soon as you have a trauma, so the trigger is triggered, you see the image and activate, and you do whatever's been attached with the
Like,
trigger image, or you follow the trigger image instructions, depends how it's been utilized.
so
But
in other words, Storm, it's like a
mhm,
programming, like a predictive
absolutely.
programming in a way.
It is
Similar.
predictive programming. It's predictive programming. Neuro-linguistic programming is predictive programming. And you see it. There was a Aaron Brown, was it? Is he the guy? Yes, I think
Um,
Aaron Brown is the guy. Darren Brown. Darren Brown makes more sense.
illusion. It isn't the word illusion, magician, sleight of hand
Now
is
we're
at
getting
play.
in the zone.
Okay, we've got Julie Goring. How did you say her name, please, Storm?
Looks
Julie
like that. Julie
Goring.
Goring.
I felt from day one that something is definitely not right. 100%. My brain is absolutely scrambled and trying to put the
Join the
pieces
club.
together. Like you say, there's no concrete evidence, and it's been manufactured that way, hasn't it? If there's no evidence, they wanted it that way, because evidence you can't you can't get away from evidence, because it's true, isn't it? There's always going to be some evidence. There's going to be a trail of evidence, breadcrumbs
Something.
to a crime,
There's
surely.
almost always something.
Um,
And in this case, not.
And then Google Maps as well, Storm. There you go. Could that be GPT? The computer
Absolutely.
program. Could they be trying it?
Absolutely.
Changing the maps.
I mean, well, that's almost given. When that occurred, I think you're referring to
Garstang.
Blackpool, correct, as Blackpool Lane being changed to Garstang, Garstang being changed to Blackpool, that changeover.
Something like that. That was another loop. Once it changed, got back, changed, got back. It's like almost as if they're experimenting with.
I was just going to deal with that, Daz. Can you just confirm that? Did they change it and then change it back?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And people in chat let us know. I'm sure they did, and I'm sure
I think they changed it back again.
What are they doing? It's so crazy.
So what about that, Daz? What about that? So at first, folks, I thought, okay, that's the Masons, because we know the Masons run Google, YouTube. That's their stuff. They've got all these symbols in it that we can bring up, the Google symbols and that on Google, or you can go and check it out. And the M is there, the Mason symbolism. It's very obvious. They're not trying to hide that. The Masons own all of that. So to change a road on a domain, an engine, a search engine which you own, means just a flick of a button, or activate your GPT system or your AI system, and boom, it's done. No, and
it goes all the way back, doesn't it? Though it went back to wasn't it 1800s? It went back in time, not just at the moment. I think it was
the history.
crime.
The history was deleted as yes.
The history as well.
So it was always Garstang Lane, people. Nothing to see here. So that's GPT. That's AI doing that. That's not a person. That's a program. That's a program taking care. That's not activated by a person. I believe that's as aware as GPT is. I think that the AI system figured out what is the best solution now out of all the criteria internationally, on internet, across the board, globally, if you believe that. But that's the kind of idea, worldwide, across the spectrum, across the net. What's the best idea right here? We'll just extend Garstang Lane. Nobody will notice. That's AI's thinking, but it's just not quite conscious enough to figure out that we might just notice if we're really looking, paying attention.
We've got the ruse, haven't we, as well, Storm? That what you showed me the other day, I was absolutely gobsmacked, and I put it on as a little bit of a short about the put ruse into Google, and we can try it now. If I type ruse into Google, it will say, that
go for it. Type it in. Let's show what it says.
And just before we do, I mean, we've got For Pink saying, I don't believe in the PSYOP stuff. That's great. We're not here to force our beliefs. We're just thinking on the other lane of what could have happened, that we know have happened in the past, isn't it, Storm? And this is why I would like other channels to come on and just have a little chat to us, and sort of, have a little debate with us, friendly debate, to see where this can take us. Not that we need to, but it'd be great for the viewers as well, because people, okay, it might be, might not. That's what we're basically saying. So you have a chat, Storm, while I go set this up. Okay.
Deptford Pink, is that correct, Daza?
Yeah, let me just put another one on.
Deptford Pink. Deptford Pink. If you can stand by for a while. Hi, Maria. How you doing? If you can stand by for a moment, Deptford Pink. As soon as we get to the 2000 explanation, 23 years ago, what happened in 2001 when two towers mysteriously fell down. I think we all know about that across the water if you're in the UK. It was over there in America. When we get to that, I'm going to give you some proof of what we're talking about. I will show you in literal form right here on camera, proof that PSYOPs on a much bigger scale exist. And if I just interject here and continue to talk about 7-7, Daz knows much more about that than I do, of course. But one thing I do know about it. Oh, go on, Daz.
This is what you showed me, and there was
look at this.
So we spoke about the word.
Bring me back to 7-7, please, Daz. Just hold me at 7-7. But let's go into the ruse quickly. But bring me back to 7-7, please.
I will do.
Thank you, Daz.
After
you.
So yeah, you showed me this, didn't you? And at first I thought, is it sort of fake news or someone put it together from Google? Now I've just typed this in, and you can go try it yourselves, put ruse meaning into Google, and there you have it.
I'm sure it wasn't me, Daz. I'm sure it was one of our good viewers that sent it to me. There's wonderful people sending wonderful things. Thank you to all of you for that. But yes, here it is. It's right in front of us.
So there you go. And it says Emma tried to think of a ruse to get Paul out of the house. Now, yeah, it could just be random that Emma and Paul is used in the example.
Random, Daz, stop it. Get out of here. Emma tried to think of a ruse to get Paul out of the house. Are you, can we say that on this channel? Are you effing with me?
But I'm just trying to, rationalize it, for I always try to and ground myself. Do you know what I mean?
Some things are irrational.
It's obvious, isn't it? That is,
Come on. Folks, what do you think about that? Look, we're not being silly. We're not, what do you call it? Sensationalizing. Look at the dictionary definition, the Wikipedia definition of the word ruse. Remember back exactly 7 days ago to almost this time, it's almost 8 o'clock, we put forward to you a triangle with three options of what could have occurred. One of them is a police ruse, a police cover-up while they went and investigated the real high-end crime. Here we go. 6 days later, 5 days later was a few days ago. This pitches up, however it pitched up. The dictionary definition, the Wikipedia definition on Google, the Masonic system, the Masonic engine of ruse is Emma tried to think of a ruse to get Paul out of the house. Yeah. Are you? Come on, somebody give us some feedback.
Yeah, please. Because these are the things that are jumping out at us now. The word PSYOP is kind of far-fetched. Now, is that far-fetched? Are the changing of the road? That's far-fetched. That what we've just showed you, that's far-fetched. What else do you need to be far-fetched? Witnesses just vanishing into thin air. That's far-fetched. It's just, it's the Paul's words. What he used in the Truman Show. Have you ever seen Have you seen the Truman Show? I've just lost my partner, and I might not never see her again. But hey, Storm, have you seen the Truman Show?
I mean, do you want to go and have some popcorn or watch a movie? It's ridiculous.
Come on, what, and people are sitting there, and it's just crazy, isn't it? Really, the rhetoric.
In real time, where's mom? Where's mom out there every day pushing the media? Where's the private investigator? Where's Paul out there? Where's one of us YouTubers with Paul looking for Nicola? What is going on, man? Why is the interaction from Paul putting some CCTV that's fake to a YouTuber? No, come on,
Mhm.
guys. It doesn't work like this. This is not police
The
investigation.
police
This is
wouldn't
like
allow it, would they, for a
none
start?
of that.
Because
None of that.
that that would be similar to Curtis when he what was he called it? You know, when he something about the law. I can't think of the phrasing. Storm, you'll have to help me.
Yep.
Something
What?
about the law. You know, when it's kind of, I can't think, but that would be the same, wouldn't it? The CCTV footage coming out before the police. The police would have had to verify, would have had to have allowed that because
Right.
it's part of the case. It's a
It's a live
witness.
case.
It's a live case, just like a witness goes, you can't talk about the case.
Excellent. Good
Perverting
point.
the court of justice. It's just come to me.
Oh, excellent, Daz. Well done. I couldn't get it either. Sorry.
No, so you know, all this information is perverting the court of justice, and when they want to use it, they used it on a YouTube channel.
Right.
So it's
And
all
what?
about the YouTube, isn't it, Storm? It seems to be about the social media, TikTokers, YouTubers. You know, it's mad.
That's where. Yes, Daz, you're absolutely on it. So, folks, what we're doing is that is sort of pointing again towards the PSYOP idea. The biggest focus, right from the word go, with the Rebecca Smith, complaining about the tiny little effigy that somebody put out on Facebook, was it, or YouTube, this little black Lego doll. Right from there, it appears like social media has been the focus of the police covert operation, not Nicola Bulley's recovery, or in the beginning was a rescue.
I mean, we
And that,
don't even know if that's true because there's no camera. Funnily enough, there's no camera again going into that scenario, into the house. Where's the written documentation,
I
Storm?
correct myself. Alleged rescue, alleged recovery. There's no evidence that this person existed, even in a crisis acting form. There's absolutely zero evidence of any Nicola Bulley existing so far. And the the post evidence, which is generally how the family deal with things, seems completely supportive of a PSYOP. When you know what a PSYOP is and all the factors and how it works, you can see it. And
I
that's what
think
I'm
that's
seeing.
Yeah, I think we need to sort of explain a little bit about a PSYOP because I think there's a big
Excellent.
confusion in the Storm.
Excellent.
The word PSYOP probably doesn't fit with some people comfortable. You know,
I
the word
agree.
PSYOP. It sounds very far-fetched and unreal, doesn't it? So, you know, I think you've got something to show us, haven't you, to do with
Yep.
that?
Yeah,
And we'll
I'm gonna
do
nice,
you want me to
Daz.
continue down with these? I mean, there's Harry here. He
Yep.
sent me some pictures, and I think I've sent them to you. And Harry, I'll have to confirm that. Can you send me the email to confirm them pictures because I don't want to be showing pictures if they're not yours, and I think you've gone under a different name. So if you can be a bit
Right.
more specific about that, please, brother, and then we can get on that. If anyone's sending anything, just let us know what we can, you know,
Yeah. We don't want to
disclose
risk
and not.
exactly. We don't want to disclose anybody's real names or information, or we data protect everybody and everything. So please.
Good point. Good point, Storm. Yes, the Angela with a Fitbit, even if not synced, you would have location on, so would still be on your phone. Now, I don't know nothing about Fitbit, Storm, so I can't comment on that.
I don't know enough about it, but I think that's a valid point, Angel. Thanks. I
Mm-hmm.
think that if you have a Fitbit and yeah, if it's not synced, in other words, it's not functioning exactly as it should by day with the app, it's still connected.
But it wasn't working. That's that's what the police have said. It wasn't synced, was it? Funnily enough, a few days before, wasn't
So I
synced.
think what Angel's alluding to is, was it on, let alone synced? Was it just like on? Was it on her wrist, firstly, and was it on, as in it was connected with the phone, but it wasn't synchronized with the phone by day? Uh, kind of like
Sorry,
standby. Was it on standby?
sorry to interject, Storm, but would it
No
not
worries.
be a case, you know, when old school days, when someone went missing, wouldn't the police put out, she's wearing this, she's wearing a Fitbit, if anyone finds a Fitbit, anyone finds some keys, these are what the keys look like, wouldn't all this detail be put out into the public domain rather than just a little bit of information? Wouldn't detailed information be out there if you're looking for somebody? And how many
I
you know.
Usually, yes, and usually in an investigation, that detailed information grows, Daz, as more people add to it, and in the end, it usually makes a picture. Okay, we do have cold cases, but not in this
Um,
case. It goes
so
the
yeah,
opposite way. The more
that is a good,
information you get, the worse it becomes.
and it's a good point, that isn't it? The Fitbits kind of, you know, things have been sort of brushed under the table. The keys, the Fitbit, you know, that's nothing.
Yeah, but
So
when that happens, Daz, again, that points to a psyop and not a real case. When all the details just disappear, like it doesn't matter about keys, and nobody mentions the kind of psyop didn't really mention the lead. Everything was based on the harness, but not actually the lead.
and that's something, getting to that as well, about Willow. Okay, so I was thinking about this and I thought, well, okay, let's say Nicola did actually, you know, de-life herself, then obviously she would have to leave Willow. Now, would she have tied Willow up, or would she have left Willow to run about to get stolen by anybody, or anything could have happened to Willow? Would she have done that, being that it was a third child, as Paul said? So therefore, if you were going to de-life yourself, okay, if she did, God rest and all that, rest in peace. But if that happened, then wouldn't she have had to secure Willow for a safety, knowing that she was safe?
Right, I see what you're saying. A reliable pet owner would have secured
Yep,
their pet as beautifully as possible, cuddled them,
yep.
made sure they got their fluffy toy and they got a bit of treats, and then they would have gone and suicided because they would have been in that kind of mindset. Yes, but I don't even want to go down the road because it never happened.
No, but I'm just
No,
putting it out there for people, you know, that are still thinking what the police are saying. You know, which
they need
you
to
know
get
that.
off that rail, that train now. After 3 months, I think most people need to start to realize that train is about to derail, because
Mm,
we're going to prove categorically today and through next week's session. We're going to debunk this. We're going to pull out enough evidence to show that this is
it can't
absolutely,
be.
it's a trial run. It's a trial run for GPT. And Des, I think just before I enter 777 and 777777, all those sevens, and the other
Yep,
numbers that happened at 2001 where the buildings fell down.
yep.
Do you want to swing? Have you got that available? The GPT 3 minutes explanation, because I think
Um, let's
I
just go and have a look.
if we can see that, Daz, we can kind of, everybody can understand that it is clearly possible from the
Y-
professionals explained, like.
do you want to just have a chat,
Yes,
Storm?
yes, I'll give you some
I'll
time, and I'll just answer
thank you.
Melia does. They use the same stage words. They do. Um, you can see that's what I think Mel's referring to, the fact of how to see them, how to recognize, how to notice that it's the same players, the same people. They use the same stage words, stage phrases, stages. Rivers seem to be the thing at the moment. My golly, how many people in rivers? And we're laughing, but not at the real side, folks, just at the psyop side. Go, we absolutely care about humanity and people. And if it is riding on the back of Nicola Bulley, full respects. But the psyop side for us is we have to laugh because it's kind of dangerous, this level. And as we get into it, you'll see what we mean in a moment. And I'll refer you to something while Daz finds that. And I agree, Mel, they do. They just use the same symbols, by the way, symbolism. I've been sort of showing you folks what I know along the last 3 months of Masonic symbolism. You find it everywhere. The M of McDonald's is a gold Masonic symbol on red background. You will find out there's nothing wrong with colors. I have some yellow on my butterfly on red. Nothing wrong with colors, folks, but they definitely have impact. If you change the colors up or you understand colors, and that'll be one of our shows once we've dealt with the psyop idea, we'll explain colors and we'll integrate that with what's known as the chakras, and we go down that road for you. But just bringing it back to what a little bit grounding and a little bit more, and back to the 777 situation, there was two parts of that. One was buses and one was a train or trains. Now, I'm going to leave the name out because full major respect to the gentleman involved. He was assassinated for what he revealed and became one of the universal warriors out there and joined the packs of people along the lines of those people who are leaders and spoke out for the truth. And what he found out, this gentleman is, I'll go as far as saying he was an electrician and he was involved in the 7777 situation. Afterwards, the carriages needed replacing, some of the carriages, especially where this thing went off. We'll speak about it like that. This package went off. That would be cool. Realize some words are keywords. We just want to avoid them, folks. What this electrician noticed when he went in to repair the carriage, the wiring, the electrical wiring of the carriages, is he noticed that the floor of the carriage where this boom occurred, the metal of the carriage floor was coming up into the carriage, not down out of the carriage. So, for anybody who understands a bit of forensics on explosions, we're just going to be careful with that word. You can look at the surrounding area, and this will lead us on to what we're getting to as well in the next explanation. There's also a large bang in that one. Is direction of environment, which way took the impact, direction of blast, it's called. When you notice that the direction of blast, you notice where the blast implement, the source of the blast, I'm being careful with words, came from. And in this case, it was under the carriage, not inside the train, as reported. The so-called man with the bang on his back went inside the train, and it occurred. The backpacker, the backpacker went inside the train, and he was a T-Rex. Yes, one of them, a T-Rex, and there was a bang, and that was what happened. That's not what happened. That's the PSYOP. The actual evidence of the carriage shows that it was a plant. It was there beforehand, and that the rest was the PSYOP, the cover story. So we got to be careful. How much is a cover story and a real event in the case of a big bang or even a murder, and how much is just a total PSYOP where nothing occurred. It's just digital. But generally, there's a real event that is then PSYOPed upon. So there's a psychological operation that piggybacks on the back of a real event. And we need to deliberate which is which. Look at both sides. So that's basically the 777. So leading over to you, Daz.
Yeah, this is a documentary. Well, it was a chat that I did on a radio show. I think someone might have seen this. Myself and Debbie Day run the show. It was an unexplained show, and we had Layla on, and she was involved in the BBC documentary of the 7/7 incident. And if I just screen share the, I can play you. She actually spoke to the producers, went around and spoke to some high up people within the intelligence service, and I've just got some key points to play. That we spoke about how PSYOPs work, and
Good.
if I get back to this, hopefully the sound should come through as well. Just let me know if the sound's coming through, please, Storm.
No worries, Daz.
Is that coming through?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. No.
Now remember, there was 4 people involved in this, wasn't there, Storm? Apparently 4 backpackers.
Which one are we on? 7/7?
Yeah, the 7/7. There was 4 backpackers. Apparently they left Yorkshire, caught went in the car, drove down, and then they got onto the buses and onto the tube, and they split up, and they tried to recreate this happening. And this is what Layla found out from the intelligence operation people that were involved, speaking to the higher levels. Can you hear that, Storm? Is that coming through?
Not yet, Daz.
Okay, one sec. Sorry about that. Let's go back. So that should be presenting screen share. It should be. It's got audio coming through. Let's just double check. One sec. So try again.
I can't hear it. I don't know if the viewers can hear it. If anybody can say.
No, nothing coming through.
Not for me.
Okay, well, we'll leave that then, Storm, for now, because that's it's something that we just wanted to try and show. But shall we go on to the what you've got to show, Storm? Because I think it's very interesting that people see this as well.
Definitely does. Can you, just while I go into that, can you find that that Chat GPT 3-minute? Is that available, or remember that?
I've got the one with the this is actually done with a chat. This is actually created by the Chat GPT. This is, but I was hoping that we could get sound as well, which is a bit disappointing, isn't it? Really,
the one where they explain how they can create the characters, yeah. Create a movie set. Remember?
Yeah, no, that one's on our channel, isn't it? The little mini one.
Can we bring that up? That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it would, but I think this is quite interesting as well.
If it can flow, go.
Yeah, good. I just hope the sound comes through though, Storm. That's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that. Can you see it though?
Yes. We can see the subtitles. It's good enough.
Now, it's a shame you can't hear the voice as well, which is it's a real shame, that is, because you should be able to hear that. So, well, let me just try it a different way. Okay, let's try it.
I agree, Ali. Definitely scripted. There's whichever way we look at it, it's scripted. There's something definitely well, it's clearly obvious, that there's a massive PSYOP going on. The only question now is it riding on the back of Nicola Bulley, a real murder, and probably a ritualistic murder in that case? Is it riding on the back of what you call an erasure, so the disappearance of a person, sort of like a witness protection idea, or just the disappearance because they want to erase themselves from reality and society? Or duality, at least. What actually is going on? Because it's very obvious there's a PSYOP going on. It's obvious there's a massive online digital covert operation going on. But
yeah, without
what
a doubt.
for? What for? What's that going on for? Who's running that? Obviously, Rebecca Smith and Snowden and Lawson. That's definitely Rebecca Smith's and Snowden's area. And of course, it seems like it's gone all the way to the secretary,
Secretary
Home
of State.
Affairs. Yeah,
Home Affairs. Yeah,
State, Home Affairs Secretary. Yeah, no, exactly. It's gone all the way up. It's gone all the way up to the top. So when that happens, there's a reason for it, and it's not just insult of a woman. It's not just the insulting of two areas of life. One very personal to females, the menopausal stage, and the other one, your medical information, particularly the mental medical information, is a delicate side.
I mean, that's the point as well. Pink Soda saying, the way that the body was removed, and Penny Bunny touched base on that and showed clearly the pictures, very clear pictures. The police were laughing. Why would you do that? Just out of respect for anybody who's lost the family, Storm, not just this situation. you know.
Crisis actors, you wouldn't. Nobody's going to do that. Come on, man. Even if you're inhumane, you're not going to stand there and laugh while retrieving your body. I'm thinking it's just crisis acting, and it's just staged, and it's just a laugh, really. And that's, I don't think that's the only laughing picture of a police officer in this case. I think if you really search, there's a couple more laughing, grinning, smiling, like taking the mick, you call it.
And this is what we're doing the show as well tonight. It's a bit, we've just come on, we just want to go through some questions, answers. We're trying to test the stream. We're getting used to it, you know, for myself as well. So it's all new territory for me, for both of us, really, isn't it? The way that we
Yeah.
just met and come together, and you know, it's a strange how it happened, you know, but it's all good. So, you know, it's really good, and I do think that we will get together either next week or the week after. We will get it nailed, won't we, as much as we can, and bring some evidence. And people, honestly, if you're out there and you've got information, just let us know. And if you don't feel that it's a psyop, please come and
Yeah.
chat with us. Anybody, just come on board. It doesn't matter who you are, you know. What does it, Storm? You can
No,
even
you're
go under a
welcome.
anonymous name. If you're a police, even if you're a police officer and you don't want to be
Yeah.
known, you know, and you want to come and you've got some not inside information, but you think that you've got something that is relevant for it not to be a psyop, come and tell us, please, because
Anybody's welcome.
yeah, please just come and, you know, get involved. You will just have your voice. We don't have to have your video. So yeah, the giggling of that was just disrespectful. And
Agreed.
the other thing I think thought about is the Jason Rothwell. Well, you know, maybe there's some information. There's maybe blackmailing going on as well, Storm. Who knows? You know, you don't say anything, or else we'll release this information.
Yep. That could be everything goes on in a psyop, does it's all angles go on. There's blackmail and there's lies and there's cover-ups, and it's a continuous attempt to keep the truth from
Uh,
emerging.
what? Oh, the Ring doorbell are HD stored on the cloud.
Yeah, of
See, I haven't
course.
got one, so I don't know.
Yeah, they are. Everything's stored on the cloud. If they, I think, Angel, if they wanted a nice point, if they wanted to reveal clear digital pictures of the morning, they could. You know, I'm sure
Yeah.
they could produce a lot if they wanted to. They're probably hiding it all.
And the way that she, you know, I know Super Chuff has done the CCTV, and he shows, and so is Grizzly, you know, but the way that whoever that person is, and it's supposed to be Nicola, is running off, you know. And another channel has said that there's water in the car. Well, could there be water in there because she's going on a journey somewhere? She needs water to keep replenished while she's getting out of the situation. If you look at all the different angles rather than the narrative, you know, the one angle, you can find different scenarios, can't you? You know, to the situation, you know, and there's where the cameras throughout the village. Why aren't they asking for any footage from the car from Paul's to the school? If they don't want to show the school, why not ask for any cars if they've been around that road? If it's a massive investigation like this, a murder investigation, well, it's not, is it?
No,
They're saying it's not.
it doesn't. Well, it doesn't appear like it's any investigation, does.
No,
I'm
nothing.
struggling. I'm struggling to see police in it. To be honest, I mean, I don't mean to be funny, but I think I've seen enough real like searches to know that that's not exactly how it goes down. Like, it doesn't look like that. You know, everything I've seen of the police searching, which is not much footage, I guess that's the point. Other than in the river, there was a lot, but any foot searches along the banks or around looked like people were just walking there for the footage. It didn't look like they were involved in a search whatsoever. So that's important. But there's a second point that's more important, Daz. This
Go.
everybody can go back and look at a certain video. We'll have to go and find it for you at some point, I guess. But it has a ring around it which shows quite categorically and quite clearly the search zone. The Nicola Bulley search zone from the bench, I think it was 2 miles outward in a radius. Stand to be corrected how far it was, but there's a red ring was circled around.
I'll have a
Within
look.
that,
Carry on.
within that search zone, police search zone, were two bodies of water. One was part of the River Wye in St. Michael's, the other was Roan Water Lake. Now, we know Roan Water Lake was not searched. There is no footage of it, no evidence of it, no report of it, nothing. It has been basically said it has CCTV, so it was totally covered and looked at. We don't have to go there. Folks, it doesn't matter who, what, when, where, CCTV, nothing. In a police search zone, when you have water areas, they searched. Then they ticked off by the police search supervisor, because the search team has reported back to him or her, and that's how it goes. Now, this is not alleged. This is how a police search goes. This is how a police search team functions. You cannot simply ignore a water body in a search zone. That
I
is
think
almost illegal. So that is unheard of. So there's something very, very strange involved in this case if the police have ignored a water body within the search zone. And that point alone needs investigation, because it's malpolicing. It's not correct policing. It's not following protocol.
just can you see on the screen,
Oh,
Storm? It says
brilliant, Daz.
police. Is this the right one? I don't know because I haven't.
Looks lovely. Can you zoom in a little?
Yeah.
Lovely. Well found, Daz.
So we've got that. Do you want me to zoom in again, just so we can?
Yeah, if you can just
There we
bring
go.
it up a bit.
Yeah. So
I
this is the actual radius of the search, is it, Storm? That's
It-
supposed to.
it looks like it does. Is it possible to zoom it up? It hasn't moved yet. If you could zoom it up, like expand that circle, if it's possible.
Zoom in or zoom
Out, basically, make it bigger, if it's possible.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just do that for you.
Just
So
so we
these
can
are actual.
see the relationship to Rowan Water Lake.
Okay. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's get it shared. So
Yes, quite. Why
Right,
no
so-
footage of her actually driving off? Exactly.
this
Why
one.
no footage anyway? Good point, Rachel Anderson. Exactly. Brilliant, Rachel. Yes, what does that say there? St. Michael's on Wye, and Rowan Water Lake is exactly there on the right. So sort of center screen almost. Yeah, is that bit of to the right? Yes, that bit of water.
Is that
Yeah. Yes.
is that it there?
Yes. Well done, Daz. Starling.
I'm learning. Getting there.
Brilliant. So how come that Rowan Water Lake right there was not searched, and it's within your search zone? Clearly, you can see that. So if you reduce that picture now a little bit, you'll see your circle in the search zone. There we go, folks. There it is for you. Now, that there is against protocol, is a malfunction of the police search team, is absolutely against protocol. What should happen is that should go to the police professional standards, and the police professional standards of Lancashire Constabulary should look into the search team. You have to look into the search team and the search team advisor and the search team supervisor, and they need to ask the search team supervisor from there down, why was Rowan Water Lake not searched when it's clearly in the search zone?
Mm-hmm. And also the caravan site as well had the CCTV not on, and also didn't get searched, did it, as well?
I'm sure there's multiple areas that didn't get searched, but for me, it's incredibly obvious that if your whole search is based in the water of the river, and you categorically are hell bent on the fact that she's in that river or in the water due to the fact that she was unstable, perimenopausal, etc., all these
Mm-hmm.
type of things, due to her high risk state, You totally believe she was in that water. Well, then what makes you believe that she couldn't be in that water, Rowan Water Lake, which is much closer to where she was supposedly last seen in the psyoptic story?
Yeah, it's very, 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 and then it gets me thinking. Well, is that because you don't want to put any police, into it, any police energy into it? Because what's the point? There's nothing to find anyway. What's the point? Could that be getting back to, it's flip flopping, isn't it, all the time, Storm, from that to this? Do you know what I mean? There's
Right.
so
So
many.
you got two sides there, Daz, haven't you? One is the psyop side. So
Mhm.
you'd have to say that they didn't bother, like you're saying, they didn't bother checking it because the psyop is just to sort of be photographed and videoed sort of in the river, and that's it, to sell the sort of the story, and that's it. So no need to check around Water Lake. Nobody's missing. Nobody's died. There's no murder. Nothing's happened.
Yep.
That's one side. The other side is exactly the opposite. There was a ritualistic murder. It was Masonic. The Rowan Water Lake is Masonically owned, and somewhere in Rowan Water Lake, one of the houses is owned and utilized for ritualistic murder, and the bodies are very obviously somewhat disposed of, the all or parts of, in the lake. They can be then washed down the river very easily by any sort of incoming storm or rain or uprising of the river or the lake, and just washed down and found in the river as usual. Everybody's found in the river in Lancashire, it seems like. It's just a
What a
normal
good
thing.
question. Good question to ask the police is when they came out with the hypothesis of saying, yeah, well, she's had an accident. We believe that she's fell in the river, and they've got no evidence. How would they look if they hadn't have found her in the river? If Nicola hadn't have been in the river, where would we be now?
But if there was no solution, so called, as it were,
Yeah.
which again, let's deal with that was filmed for a reason. We were shown that for a reason. That whatever that was, the bag, the orange bag that was disrespectfully removed
Hmm.
as though it was sort of a bag of something, not sort of a body and life, or previous life. So
And there was
I don't know.
there's photographic evidence, though, isn't there? They made sure that happened, that the police were there and pulling something from the river.
So
They
when they
made
make that,
sure.
yeah, when that's made sure that it does. It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's let's have Trisha. She's even on a door cam. Is this the ring flood cam? So and I would imagine that Paul and Nicola would have high quality. They look like they come from an okay area, don't they? They don't look like they haven't
No,
got
no.
some. In their line of business, you would think that you would want your protection on your home, wouldn't you?
Most people do, and as Trisha's saying, it's perfect. Her ring floodlight cam is perfect quality. It's perfect quality. Also, let's not forget, and this is again alleged because I haven't gone to check myself. On Paul's next door neighbor, I believe
Hmm.
Paul's next door neighbor is a gentleman known as Spencer Sutcliffe, who owns Sutcliffe Securities and who is an expert in CCTV manipulation and footage manipulation, I guess, is where I'm going with this.
All right, okay, which could be going down the route of the cameras being switched off, funnily enough, or
Well, the
where they
foot.
switched off, where they switched off.
Well, Paul's footage is manipulated.
Oh yeah, sorry, I see what you mean. The CCT footage from
Yeah,
the
that's
so-called
his
morning.
that's his neighbor's art. He works in CCTV security. Yeah,
Oh, coincidental.
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
um, so like as someone else said about me putting some pictures up again, please just we'll get onto that the pictures and that next week. We will, won't we, Storm? This is just
Yeah,
like now questions and answers. It's just flow
eh,
chatting away.
anything we can find, we'll put up. But
Even you don't even know that she left the house. Well, we don't, do we? No one knows that she left the house,
no, no.
but then again, are you believing the police? are you? It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy, So we don't know if she's left the house, for sure, and it's even the police have asked you to look down a different road than the one she walked down. Is that because they don't want you to see something? Usually, if it's like, look over there while we do something over here scenario, isn't it? Because why say look? It's just strange, isn't it, Storm?
That's what it is, Daz.
It's it's
Misdirection.
misdirection. Um,
One hand's to look. What's this hand doing while this hand's doing something else? Yeah, misdirection.
And this is something Eddie. I mean, he was great. I mean, he led me to be here, and so did the other channels, and he's put hours of work into this. Bless him, and on the detective side, I'm not a detective, Storm. I don't, I can't say I'm an armchair detective or nothing. My mind is my detective, and me, being empathic. I work on me gut feelings. That's my compass, me mind and me compass. So, as far as being an armchair detective, so Eddie's. Sorry, I'm waffling, but yeah, he did say going about his gym gear, didn't he? Why didn't anyone around the area saw him with his gym gear on? I don't know. It's just
it's
again,
all obfuscation. Look, folks, I think we saw the same technique. There's techniques used. We saw the same technique used in the 2019 genocide on humanity. That's basically what it was in its form. And he's still playing itself out. But there was a technique called obfuscation used. So they would give you both sides. They give you yes and they give you no, and they throw it out there both as truths. So information and misinformation. And then they let you fight over what's true because you don't have any evidence. So you're going to go into a massive waste of time, loop around and around discussion on a bunch of non-factual information that you have no evidence about. That is what they want.
speculation, but don't do it.
That their loop of speculation does exactly is teaching the GPT system. It's grabbing all the investigative minds out there online and teaching the GPT system how to be an investigative mind. It's an area of training. It's an end training AI.
Yeah, we'll have a touch. And I wish I could get the video up. I wish I could get it working, Storm, but I can't. And it tells you, doesn't it, that you can input. I'll get my friend on who knows a bit about the programming side of that. He knows how to use the code, and you can ask it to produce images. You can ask it to do characters, and it will actually produce the images. If you want to go and look up for yourself, it's there. But as Maria says,
we put that out. Sorry, Dan, off you.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm just going to say, Maria sent an email. I can see it.
She can't.
Right, she sent me she has sent an email, Storm. Yep. So I think she's saying it's okay to use. Shall I just go have a nosy at these? See if I can find this email.
And yeah, see if you've got it. And what she's saying is that she can't see it, that it's registering as sent to you. So maybe it got shadow banned. In other words, just folks, you understand what we mean by shadow ban. Let's just use a live explanation. Maria would tick send, and Daz should receive, and it should pop up on his email, but somewhere in between it's disconnected and shadow banned, so it gets detoured. It gets detoured, okay? So it's not our fault. It's not Maria's fault. It's not anybody's fault. Understand that this is part of it, at least, a massive PSYOP, and it's an online PSYOP for regulations for the future of social crediting. So what they're doing is they're manipulating how things go in many, many ways, and we're trying to explain how, why, and what those reasons are. So we just got to follow it. But shadow banning is one way to get people to have an argument. Just think about it. How many times have I received myself and others, probably multiply more, people saying, "You shadow banning me. Stop deleting my comment. I just commented and it's not there. I don't see it." It's not us. It's not us. It's YT. It's YouTube. It's the engine. It's the bot. It's the fact checkers. I'm sure you know what those all are, coming from 2019's scam. The
And
fact
maybe the,
checkers are out there.
maybe Storm, and that could be one of the reasons for this case to be hyped up. Whether but we'll go down that road as well when we get onto the case, won't we? Because again, me and you are going round in circles, aren't we? This is great. But it's just what was that ring of roses as well, Storm?
Interesting, isn't it?
You asked me to remember that. It's
Yeah,
the old nursery rhyme. What was
exactly
that for?
does. Exactly. I'm sure everybody remembers that we used to, well, we got taught the nursery rhyme. You would stand in a circle and you would hold hands, and then you would move around in a direction as a circle of people, as you
Hmm.
children, and sing ring a roses, ring a roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down. So that was plague, and the four little lines of the verse created for around the time of the bubonic plague.
All right. Yep. Yep. I wonder why you asked me to remind you. And that's, yeah, I get what you're saying about that's the PSYOPs, the one happened a few years ago, the big
Exactly.
one.
So that came off it. So that poem, or that rhyme, is to remind you of that time, of
Uh,
that
I'll,
psyop.
and I'll go through my emails properly because I can't seem to see it at the moment. So it could be in my spam or whatever. I'll have a look, Maria, and thanks for that. Hey, nice one. Let's have a look. Um, this Harry's on
Just
about some pictures. I can't show any pictures, guys, until I have authentication that it's actually you, because I've got a lot, Storm. Do you know what I mean? If I start showing
I
pictures,
know,
and
I
because
understand, Daz.
I've had some that I've showed you, haven't I, about you know, um, and I can't mention the name, and it's not that name that I've sent you, is it, Harry? It wasn't him. So I don't want to start showing pictures if it's not the correct.
We'll
So
go through it, guys, and we'll sort
we
it out.
will. We promise. We're just having a discussion, aren't we? A live
Yep.
discussion. You
We'll
know,
sort that bit out.
it might be a little bit, all thinking, oh, well, what you're getting to, guys. But we're just discussing, just having a chat, brainstorming. That's what we're doing.
So
And
speaking about the ring a roses, Daz, we can go on to the pink lady. Now, I don't know if folks remember, and maybe you don't know. He has an interesting point. Exactly to the date of 2019, and that specific date that things started uh, in the PSYOP that we're referring to as
hmm
the plague of 2019. Well, if you go back to 1918, 1919, 1920, 1921, exactly the same dates, exactly 100 years ago, it's known as a centenary anniversary. You had what was known as the Pink Lady or the Spanish flu, which
hmm
wasn't a Spanish flu at all. What it was a virus that was injected into 2 million soldiers in America in a specific fort that were then transported over to Europe with a meningitis bacteria inside them that was highly contagious. And the purpose was they were the weapon. The humans that had
All right.
the meningitis bacteria in them were carrying the bioweapon and infected 50 million Europeans in an attempt at genocide in Europe. It
And
was
is that
called,
sorry?
yes,
Carry on. Is
it
that
was
why they
called
said
this.
it came from the army, Storm? When you read up on about it, it came the
It did.
army. It came from, wasn't it?
That's correct. They were soldiers. That came from the Fort Dietrich, I think it was, if I remember
Wow.
correctly. Um, and spread. So 50 million people died, and the Spanish were blamed for it as Spanish flu because they
hmm
were neutral in that war. They weren't taking part, so they got blamed for everything, really. It just dumped on them. But it was nothing to do with the Spanish. It was a viral genocidal attack to depopulate humanities, particularly Europe. And that was exactly 100 years to the date of the recent exactly the same, identical, blueprinted attack on humanity.
Synchronicity comes into my mind there. Everything's dated, related. It's all dated, related, and it's
Premeditated genocide, I think, is what you call it.
And if you look now as well, people, this is another show that we want to touch base on, because I think what's happened in the last few years, there's doctors coming out now, and there's evidence to show that in the last weeks he studied, and he was pro for it. He wanted everyone to be protected. Now he's coming forward and saying the government need to look at this, because there's X amount of deaths over the statistic line. So you have a line of average deaths per week, and now it's going up 2,500 per week in this country alone. He's looked in other countries, and it's happening the same. So where are all these deaths coming from? He can put it down to some being COVID, like about a few hundred, but the rest of them, he says it needs investigating, because these excess deaths are very bizarre. It's funny how, but that's another show, isn't it, Stanley? So we are going down other roads and do other shows, but just bear with us, people, and we will have some good content, visuals, and we're still learning stuff, aren't we?
I completely
We're
agree with
growing.
you, Daz. Without going into saying any of those words that we can't say,
Yeah.
I agree with you on that subject. On that subject matter, there, I'm sure we get away with that one under the popcorn banner. On that subject, yes, it's obvious. That's exactly what's happening. Let's not mince words. People are dying in their droves if you're following this across the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Definitely.
being very
Just local.
effective. Sadly,
Just people around me, Storm. I'm noticing people in the street, family members having some strange illnesses that shouldn't happen until later on in their life. And okay, it's coincidence, but when it happens so many times, it's coincidence once, maybe twice, but when it happens more times,
well,
so we
it's very live
sorry.
and it's very real. And over here, we have our lawyer finally on it, and we invite all injured parties within our local area. Remember, we've been working on this for years. We were the original ones who didn't stand for it and protested and such like. And we're still not standing for it. But finally, we've got to lawyer status where we can basically sue. We can sue Pfizer and
Well,
various other companies.
Australia have
Um,
just started it, haven't they? They're the
yeah,
ones
so
that are.
so
It's really.
we have our locals can go and claim from this specific lawyer on where we are and get their claims seen to and get to court and get some benefit out of the attack that occurred on them. But yeah, that's exactly what everybody needs to do. They need to get the lawyers on it now. And finishing off that point, can anybody verify, please, if that person we are talking about, Mr. Billy Gates, has been arrested for crimes against humanity, or is this just another ruse or Facebook nonsense? Because
But it's funny how they're popping up. Yeah.
I've heard it's very real, and that finally they've got enough evidence against him for what's very obvious to most of the population and our loved ones as they suffer amongst us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I,
Definitely.
I hope so. But if anybody can verify that, that'd be good.
So just getting back to Nicola Bulley, we've got a question here, and Angela's got a good point, hasn't she? I wouldn't have gone home to wait for the police. I would have been straight there. Even if they would have asked me to go home, I would have said, look, I'm here. I've lost my partner. But I'm not going anywhere. You're going to
Of
have to
course.
come here, ask me questions,
Yeah, of
unless I'm
course.
under arrest. Unless you're arresting me, I'm not going back home.
Of course. Why would you? Where would you? Why would you go back home for what? You change your clothes? No, come on,
Oh,
folks.
he's in his gym. He's in his gym shorts, though, isn't
Come
he?
on, folks. You were ready. You were dressed. You were in your gym shorts. You were in your gym gear for searching, for running, for looking, for panicking. Go on, get on it. Do it.
Yeah.
Find the missing person.
It's just, if you just connect the dots yourself and put yourself in their shoes, and just, you wouldn't. So good point, Angela, there. Let's have a look. seems to have gone quiet now. Again, Storm, would you say that's the shadow banning of the, that's what they want the media to be quiet. So the
Uh,
YouTubers look the bad ones. So
yeah,
they can say, YouTube are the bad ones.
everybody's waiting for the inquest. That's why it's gone quiet. Nobody wants to say anything wrong, and the only people saying anything are the YouTubers who are going over the same old ground, over and over and over, and yeah, milking it for everything it's got, which
I
we don't
feel
agree with. Don't
a
like
bit
that.
sorry for him as well, though, Storm, because some of them are genuinely concerned and trying to get justice for Nicola, aren't they? They are, sort of. Truth Finders did a fantastic video, Storm, didn't they? When they put the log in the weir and they let it go, they were trying to prove I know it isn't a body, but they were trying to prove how the weir flows, how it would go over the weir, over that bit that drops down, the waterfall bit, and the log
Sh-
went over.
Sure. I did.
And
What we'd have to take into account there is the level of the water at the time. But in that
mhm,
experiment, I think what they're showing is something that floats can go over the weir.
mhm.
But there's two sides to that. One side is yes, that's good. You did an experiment, and not many people did, and that's very very cool to have gone there and done that.
I think so.
The other thing is the other side would be, does a log replicate a body? And what was the experiment exactly? Was it about the body at the moment? Like, because a drowned victim usually just sinks and it's not
Mm.
like a log, it's like a rock. Or was it referring to when the body floats, which would be 3 to 5 days later, when the body slowly bloats, could be up to 10 days, and then they would be floating, but it would be more like a balloon than a log. In these things, what I find in investigating, you have to be, especially in recreating an investigation, critical. Otherwise, you may be deceived by the outcome. But all attempts at a discovery of some sort of answer are relative and deserve some sort of admiration.
I think it was very good on to do that, to go out and show that.
Yeah.
And also, I did hear the other night listening to the show, they had someone who'd been through the coroner inquest, and there's a few scenarios that an inquest can go, and I didn't realize this, Storm. I didn't realize that it can be an open verdict on the inquest that could be investigated at any point after that verdict, or it could be a closed verdict and he's happy with his finding and he discloses the cause of death. I didn't realize there could be an open verdict as well,
Right.
so it can be open at any other time. At the moment, it isn't a criminal investigation,
Right.
coroner investigation, is it, to the
Right.
death?
Okay, that's good. We'll have to see, but yeah, those options are open. You're correct. That's how it works. Can be
I
definitely
didn't know.
definitely
I
can
didn't
be
know.
left open. It's kind of like a cold case, then, isn't it?
What's this one, Storm? Hillary Sanders. Saunders,
No.
is that correct?
Yep. Lovely. Why are you not
Um,
responding to requests from your subs to show what they sent you? Why are you not
um,
responding to your requests from your subs to show what they sent you? Well, the reason I think you explained, Daz, did you?
Um, I'd
That
like to think that I did.
you're not sure who is. It's kind of a data protection, Hillary. We're not
Mhm,
sure who has actually sent those pictures. And if we show them, for instance, let's just use a name. If Mary sends us a picture saying it's from her and we show it, but it's actually from Bob, Bob might contact us and have a problem with that.
mhm.
And we're trying to be careful and respectful.
But this is good because we're going to go back on these questions and look at everything. Like last week, don't think because we're here and we haven't mentioned you, we go and analyze the show, don't we, Storm? And we
All
go back
week.
and look at, yeah, all week we look at everyone who's in chat, and we look at what you've said. So please, we're here together as a team, even though we might not have mentioned you, and like Maria, I'm going to go look through my emails at the
There we go.
moment. It's like jumping about, and I need to go look for it, and we will come back to it, won't we? And we'll do a proper show on it.
It's simple,
Um,
folks. Next week, just like this week, we will start with the information that you're requesting now. We will have your
Yes.
pictures that are verified by that point because we would have contacted you and verified who you are and know that it's okay to present your information. Sometimes we don't even have permission yet to present the information that we have backed up in emails from
Good
people.
point.
And we need to get round to it. It needs to be respectful. We don't want any problems legally, folks, or morally or ethically. So that's why, Hillary, we're trying to work
Some
around
people might
things.
use different names as well.
They
Still
do,
might,
unfortunately.
so I've got pictures and it might not be from Harry. I need to go in and I don't know if Harry's gone under a different name. And, so please, guys, be a little bit, it's all private, isn't it? So on this is anything you send, if it's all private when it comes
Yeah.
to us,
As soon as we have your permission to release the information or the pictures that we're getting, it will be there, and definitely next week it will be there. You will see all the pictures and explanations of what you're asking right now.
So, and I mean, it's time consuming as well, isn't it, Storm? We're doing this out of passion, just like every other YouTube, we really, it's really rewarding, isn't it? To have people on the show. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while, a channel like this, not just on Nicola Bulley, just to be able to share knowledge. And I've been very fortunate that, yourself is wanting to come and join me on this quest. So I just wanted to say that. Mal, I
Exactly,
would not
does.
leave it. I would not leave it if it was my family. Exactly, you wouldn't.
Nobody would, eh? Well,
Um, so, okay. Do you want to read this one, Storm, from Julie?
yeah, Julie. If you had nothing hard to hide, you would let police speak to the girls. I heard you refused to let police talk to them. Yeah, that's a massive question, Julie, and a good one. Of course, the children are going to tell the truth, but they've been protected, or is that what you call it? That
Is it because of their age as well, Storm? I don't know what the policy is.
I understand that, but if they hold the truth, they hold the truth, don't they?
They would be interviewed in a circumstance, in a certain. You
Yeah,
can
privately
interview.
or at home or with the father or the mother, or well, in this case, the mother's supposedly gone missing, but at least the parents or grandparents, or yeah, of course, there's ways to do it, but there's no information from that area.
No, and also I found it odd, Storm, as well. And when some of the interviewers was saying, "Well, Mummy's coming home," the father said, Nicola's dad said, "Well, they know Mummy's coming home."
Mm.
Now, we're telling now that could be a positive thing. Don't worry, your mum's going to be coming home. I just found that was mentioned a lot, that Mummy's coming home. They'll get to see the mum, and Paul on the interview as well, on Dan's interview at the very end, he was talking about a wedding and they went all into happy, smiley situation, not knowing if he's going to see his, Nicola again. And I spoke to my friend about it, Debbie, and she said, well, that could just be trying to put a positive spin on, and Paul could be trying to make it, why make it look, I don't know, would you be like that, Storm? Could you fake being happy in a
Now,
scenario like that?
I found it super odd that it's very strange. Like the behavior was super strange. I think
Very.
everybody found it strange. Looked like somebody acting. That's what it looks like. Sorry to say, but it looks like an act.
Do you think we will get to the truth? I don't think they will want us get to the truth ever, or else they would have by now. Storm, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. What truth are we talking about?
Yeah,
Are
that's
we
your point.
talking about getting to the truth of what happened to a real human being, a woman who was so-called went missing, I guess either accidental or by misadventure or abduction? If that's what you mean by the truth, to follow the physical trail of evidence in a case and find physical, evidential truth and solve a literal case? I don't think so, no, because I don't think there is any.
And also, they're telling you the truth that she's found the river, and there is no criminal investigation. That's what they're telling us. So,
That's right.
it's whatever you believe at the moment, isn't it?
Right. That's an
Really,
excellent point, Daz.
it's
That
whatever you believe.
that is the accepted truth. That is the told truth. The truth is what happened. She obviously did fall in the river. They did find her body, and that's the truth. Uh,
Please,
but
that's it.
but that's
What
that's
what
not the
more
truth.
do
We
you
know
want?
that.
That's our job done.
That's it. But we know that's
um,
not the truth. Now, where do you go from there? Please understand the great difficulty from there to try to find the truth when the truth is not being revealed. It's been purposely absconded. It's been hidden from you. So yeah, it makes it greatly difficult.
so I spend so many hours from Rachel Anderson. I spend so many hours keep trying to find something. Oh my goodness, I was looking into our laws and unbelievably, is that right? Unbelievable
Yep.
what the unks can do. We already have uncovered a lot, I think. Is she
Yep.
on about the laws maybe there,
Yeah,
Storm?
yeah.
Are you Rach?
Yeah, she's saying the police, what the police can do. Um, yeah, I agree. We have already uncovered a lot. Yeah, I agree. In a lot of places, a lot of across the board, all the people that are helping or even self-interested and not helping, but just self-interested, but are still putting out content, information, discovering, searching, investigating. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think we have already uncovered a lot, Rachel. Um,
Definitely.
and we're
Between
keeping on going.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think everyone's got their own strong points. All the channels have got strong points, and if we all take the bits, and mention Jack in the Box, by
Nice one.
um,
Let's think
Tricia.
outside the box.
Yeah,
Chill.
yeah,
If
get Jack
if
out
you
the box.
chill out the box. If it's
Oh,
Jack in the box, got to be Jill out the box, no?
Tricia, and I think Penny has done military work as well. I'm sure I've heard her say that. She said 15 years in the military and never heard of any psyops, but I may just not be told. Um, do you want to answer that one, Storm?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Please.
Excellent. Tricia, this is how it's working. Before the psyops were dealt with differently. Like, for instance, if a group wanted to um, i- implement a psychological operation on the population, what they used to do was make up a pamphlet or leaflet of information or misinformation and then throw it out of helicopters or aeroplanes amongst the population. Everybody would pick it up and read it. And that's how a psyop or misinformation used to be done. And then you had radio. So this is kind of Daz's area where radio came on. And in radio, you had pirate radios. So you
Mm-hmm.
had, yeah,
Sorry.
the non-normal, the kind of off-grid channels, kind of what we
Mm-hmm.
are now, the not the mainstream, as it were. And they used to present information. Now, again, who you are would decide which channel, the pirate or the mainstream, is real information or conspiracy. But these days, I'm afraid that so many of the conspiracy theories out there have become fact and real. And some of this show, I'm going to present the factual evidence of that, so you really know that this actually exists. And to answer
Just,
Trisha's question directly, sorry, Daz, is to say that these days psyops are so easy to implement because we are all online as a community. And that onlineness makes us disconnected and divided. So we've lost all our instinctive and intuitive abilities to read somebody who's in front of us and whether they're telling the truth or not. Keeping in mind that most of our um, registering of whether a person is telling the truth. Most of our registering of truth or lies comes from being in front of somebody and their bodily movements, their behavioral signs, then their tone, then the words they say. But all we get when we're online is the words. So it's very, very difficult to be able to psychoanalyze or behaviorally analyze whether the person is telling the truth or not. And that gives the ability for a psyop, a lie, to be spread across the internet and for everybody to accept it as truth. And you see this critically on all the engines. On YouTube, just go on the prank channel. You'll see a bunch of pranks. Just go
Hmm.
on, just go on many channels. You will see blatant lies. There's a channel out there called CM, I believe. I'm not sure. I forget now. It's not important. But that channel, there's a lot of lying on there. And when you go on and you do a little bit of investigation into any of the information given, you'll find the lies and the falsehood. And you can prove it like I have and do. And when you do that, you realize that there's false information intermingled with the truth. And that is called obfuscation, where there's so much discordance, there's so much truth and lies mixed together that for you to try to separate them is impossible. And there, in that mix, a psyop is possible because you don't know the truth from the lie.
And I think as well, Storm, with it being in the military, I think it's a word that's a bit taboo as well, because it's if you're working for the military, you wouldn't like your military personnel to believe that you could actually be involved in a massive lying scenario, to the public, because you're working for a respected government institute.
Hmm.
They wouldn't want you to think, maybe is that maybe why it doesn't get mentioned down to the personnel level of the military. But there's two major psyops that have happened within the military, and it's still happening within the military, and that's World War I and World War II. They were massive psyops as well. But this is again something we can talk about. So there's a lot that's happened, and it's like, well, you can't say they're psyops, because you're like, off your head, it's conspiracy. But they've used the word conspiracy in a way to think that conspiracy doesn't exist. It was actually invented by MK Ultra, wasn't it, to make the
Correct.
truth make the truth look a lie. It's a
That's correct.
conspiracy. That's not
Yep.
true. So they put the umbrella under the word conspiracy, and you can do the research, and it's there. So psyop conspiracy are both the same things, but maybe that's why, Trish. Yeah, and I can understand this psyop thing is it's a lot for people to take in, Storm, isn't it? If it's uncomfortable, isn't it, for some people?
Quite. It's very deceptive.
Mm.
just
You
just to
wouldn't
keep
like
it
to think. Sorry.
no, just to keep in mind, it means psychological operation. It's an operation on your psyche, on your brain, on your thought pattern, on your psychological operation. Back to you, Des.
Funny how some this is It's funny how some of us can see it's foul play, but yet others can't. Just my view. Going back to the explain about the programming side of things, Storm. Predictive programming.
So
Why
that's a
people?
very good point, Em. It's funny how some of us can see it's foul play, but yet others can't. Well, in 2019, something occurred in a place called China. It was a strange name, started with a W and had the word hang in it. So that area of China, I'm not sure what keywords are, folks. So we've got to be careful here. But when this all kicked off in China, the big CV thing, right?
Mm.
I spoke with people over here and began to ask them to prepare. And they all thought I was completely off my head, like what Daz has just explained, that you're a conspiracy theorist and that you're completely nuts and that's happening over there and it'll never ever come here. Stop
Mm-hmm.
being kind of a globalist, idealist,
Scaremongering.
be local, blah, 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 blah. And of course, just like I'm doing now, I was explaining the ins and outs and the mechanics of what's going to happen and what did happen and exactly it played out. And we had to fight it with everything we had, as many of us did, in respects to all those people. Well, that was a psychological operation, bar none, a centenary on the Pink Lady Spanish flu. It was a exact viral centenary on as Agenda 2020. And that there, folks, is very real, I'm sure, to everybody who just went through the past 4 years and is still being very real. And that there was seen, pointed out, prepared for before it happened. That is being able to see what's going to happen by knowing the type of language that is spoken by these people. And when they speak that language, you can understand it. So it brings us back to M's point. Funny how some of us can see and some couldn't. Well, all the people, and no disrespect, everybody who went and had any one of those didn't see. But maybe they then saw and didn't have number 2, 3, and 4. But this is the point. The people who had many of them and still having them never saw and will never see or still don't see. Maybe they will see, but they haven't seen yet.
Yeah, to awake. I say if you're awake, I use that term.
Yeah, it's difficult term these days because it's all intermingled with that stupid scenario of woke. But we're talking about a simple person who has eyes to see what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have eyes to see what's really going on, then you can see what's really going on. And you can see that that 2019 4 year scenario was pre planned, was written out, was played out in a very similar scenario called a PSYOP to what's happening here. And in the military, there's many levels. All these things are level events. Just like in the Masons, you have from level 1, level 2, level 3, all the way up. They're known as degrees, the first degree, second degree, third degree, all the way to the 33rd degree Freemasons in the public eye. Level 1, 2, and 3 are sort of staff management and director level. They're a social charitable level. Level 33 is a whole nother story. You're on a presidential level, and there's certain occultic responsibilities that you have to take part in and rituals.
Can I
But
just interject there,
please
Storm?
do.
Um, yeah, I was just thinking about something, and I lost what I was going to say, buddy. But yeah, about yeah, about the big C, what we've just happened. Now, how I saw it was when I started to when things started to come to me, when I started to notice things, is we have agents, don't we? We know we have like agents around the globe, around the planet, around the plane. We have them. Now, if you were in China and you could see something happening, you would be on the phone to your country saying, "Luke, there's a level event here. Close down the country. There's something happening here. You need to close down the country." But they didn't. They let it happen. There is a red flag. I think the red flag scenario is a good way of saying, well, how do you see these things? Well, just look at the logic. Just use your logic as a red flag, as a thought of why. Why did they let it happen? When things are being let to happen or giving it the go ahead, that's a red flag for you to think, well, this is planned. A bit like the Nicola Bulley. They're letting it happen, letting it go ahead, they're letting the storyline unfold before you got to that point. She's in the river. She's in the river. She's had an accident. No evidence, but she's in the river. Red flag. Point.
They
Does that
allow
make
it to.
sense? Or
They allow it to go ahead. Is what you're saying. It's
yeah,
allowed.
trying to see and like be nice to explain how you can see scenarios unfolding, so people can see it. if we can explain how you see a psyop or how you see something happening, rather
Okay.
if that
It's
kind of
yeah,
it's hard to.
what it's called, Daz, is cognitive dissonance. So it's known as cognitive dissonance. It's basically
Okay.
your cognitive function is in disarray or dissonance. Dissonance is the opposite of resonance. Resonance is when something is in a resonant frequency, it's in harmony and balance. Dissonance is when it's out of frequency, out of harmony, like a guitar being out of tune.
Mm-hmm.
Now, cognitive dissonance is your brain, your cognitive functions being out of tune. Why and how does cognitive dissonance occur? Well, cognitive dissonance occurs through obfuscation. So when two obfuscating points, two dual points are presented, like I mentioned before, as the truth. So both the negative and the positive are presented as the truth for you to work out. So this obfuscation causes cognitive dissonance. Now, a psyop is to bring people into a cognitive dissonance state where they don't know what the truth is. In their brain, they're obfuscated. They can't decide and rely on anything that they believe because they can't decide because they don't know what the truth is. They're in a cognitive dissonance state. And, and you found this, sorry, you found this very directly and very well displayed with the recent PSYOP CV across the board of 2019. The information displayed was so false that people went into cognitive dissonance. They did not know what was true, what distance was true for social distancing, what length of time was true for this virus to live outside of the body, inside of the body, what was contagious, what nobody knew anything. They were in a cognitive dissonance state due to misinformation. And that
Cool.
there
So
is the art of a psyop.
okay. Getting back to chat. Sorry, Storm. Just noticing the time. We could go on, couldn't
Oh
we?
yeah.
We get
Oh,
Storm gets really deep people as well. Please. He's very, very channeled. We're very lucky to have a mind like that. Just some people. You could lose people easily, couldn't you, Storm? But you have a way of explaining, so we have to let you explain. It's some of it goes over. You know, and some of it goes over my mind as well. So it's I'm just saying that out there for people who are getting a bit lost in things.
anybody who's got
But
questions,
we
just
will.
pop them in.
That's it. Ask away, please. If you're not sure about something, just ask Storm into it. To break it down. So someone's is that Lisa? Do you want to read that one out, Storm?
Yeah, Lisa Payne is she's referring to PA. Paul Ansel said he's in his CH5, oh yeah, the Channel 5 interview, he
Yep.
wouldn't let the girls be questioned. Yep, that's exactly what he said. That's correct.
So it's Paul who won't let the girls be questioned then.
He did say that. That is absolutely, I remember that correctly.
Now that's a red flag, isn't it?
Protecting himself, isn't it? Again, it is a red flag. Evening all. Oh,
Um,
Mara, how you doing out
um,
there?
I've seen she's around, been around a lot, hasn't she? I've seen her on your channels
Mara,
as well.
Mara does some great
Your
work in
channel.
tarot reading. If it's Mara, I
Um,
believe that's Mara from the tarot.
um, so I hear Paul didn't want. Yeah, so it's two people. It must be them. Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
under the
know that.
same understanding, so it's a red flag, as you
Um,
say.
yeah, someone knows about the MK Ultra. So Trish is back again with another question. Yes, that's what I thought. Nicola Bulley event is small compared to what's happening. Reference mind control. So she does know about it, Storm.
Correct.
So that's
Correct.
good point.
Just for those who don't, MK Ultra is a reference to mind control with a K. Mind control ultra. It's
I didn't know
basically
that, Storm. I didn't know that's where.
Yeah, it's basically an
I didn't
operation
know
that's
that.
been going on for a long time. Many, it's probably into 70 odd years. The Nazis were into MK Ultra. That was part of that experimentation there. And it's almost in
And
every country across the plane, MK Ultra. It's basically working on how it's an operation to understand the human psyche. That's the very basics of it, and how that functions in all its parameters, including remote viewing and psychic behavior, channeling, all these areas. They were very, very interesting, particularly remote viewing. It was one of the super areas of MK Ultra. So
and
that's what that operation was.
and it apparently started in the 70s. Angel
So
says.
they
I
tell
mean,
so
that's
they
is that
so they tell
Angela?
you
Angela. Sorry,
stopped in the
sorry,
70s.
Storm.
No, they say it stopped
Stop.
in the
Oh, stop. Sorry, I
oh
didn't
yeah,
know that.
but it's
Did
never
it stop?
stopped.
Did it
No.
stop?
Yes, she's
Uh,
right. She's right in both. She's absolutely correct. Yes, Angel.
um. So yeah, we've covered a lot. Do you think it's time
Ah, it's
to
Maria
show?
Suarez. Hi, Maria. How are you? Sorry, I thought you were
Do you
Mara
think?
from the Tarot Reader.
Do you think what's the name, Storm? It's time to show the
Yes.
note.
Yeah, quite,
Can
Daz.
you?
You ready for that?
Yeah, sorry, but it's mind draining, isn't it? You know, sitting here. You know, do you think so, Storm? You've not even had a drink. I'm not seeing you had to have
Mind draining and mind blowing.
refresh.
Which one is it?
Yeah, both, buddy, without a doubt.
Well,
Yeah, it's trying to keep it flowing, trying to keep keeping it interesting for the viewers as well.
you're
It's
doing well, Daz. You're doing well, mate.
I think we both are, buddy. And I'm sorry if I interject and stop your flow. Because I just
Oh no,
um
you're brilliant,
just
mate. You're brilliant. You're doing well.
just good teamwork. So yeah, I just want to try and get to this point, Storm, of you showing us that note. You know what?
Brilliant.
Can we try that with
Yeah, let's go for that. I'm going to
the dollar
brighten us up.
bills?
I'll brighten us up. I'll give a quick explanation, or do you want to?
Um,
Yeah, I'll just give a quick explanation. They let you drink your water.
replenish.
Yeah.
Go on then, buddy. Do
Yeah,
you want me
so
to get the screenshot as well about when the dollars actually got
great.
changed?
Great idea, Daz. Great idea. So what we're going to show you folks is we're going to pop back to 2000 and a 2001 incident that occurred, keeping in mind that we're referring to PSYOPs and the 2019 PSYOP and all the way back to the 1918 PSYOP or 1919 PSYOP, the pink lady, black then, the Spanish flu. Then just to show you how PSYOPs work, function, and how they're real. So what we need for that is evidence. So what we're going to choose to show you the evidence of, because we have some of that, is the PSYOP in 2001, known as the numbers. I think you saw them as 911. So that operation is what we're talking about. Now, in that operation, there were. What happened in the operation? Let's deal with the operation first. What happened is 2 buildings were brought to the ground. They were 2 of the tallest buildings in the world, I believe. And these buildings were brought down, supposedly said that aeroplanes flew into them, and those aeroplanes were by a hostile foreign country, and that was a T-Rex attack, and hence gave America the right to go into the country that supposedly attacked.
I've got
So
some images as well
on
to
the
show.
screen is what we're talking about. Obviously, you remember these images. Now, there's a lot about this, and there was a lot of conspiracy fact about it and fiction and stuff. But what we're going to point out is some evidence to you today. So let's focus, folks, and we'll show you how this works. Look at that picture there. So that picture there is one of the images that was presented by the standard media, the international media.
I think CNN had a massive part in this, didn't they?
I think that's exactly the channel that we're talking about. Yeah, but they're all just as bad as each other, all hand in hand.
Yep.
When something like this occurs, like the CV in 2019, all the media channels around the world that are all deep state channels, so they're all just the voice for the deep state, are given the playbook. In other words, what to say and how to say it and when to say it, and they all say it at the same time. And that was proven in the CV PSYOP in 2019, where you had almost about 30 channels all on. Somebody made the video all on at the same time saying the same thing. And that was proof of how it works, how a PSYOP is delivered internationally at the same time via what's called a playbook. Now, in this case, the playbook and here we're going to have to focus, folks. The playbook was the reconstruction of the dollar notes in 2020. Now, when you look, there's proof, and it's the history of the dollar notes. It's written that the dollar note was created in 1969, I believe was correct, and the last time it was altered or changed, as you can see on the screen there, was 2000, sorry, exactly 2000, the year 2000. That was 1 year before the event known as 911, we'll call it. Now, folks, how this works with black magic, sorcery, the side of deep state and Illuminati that we are talking about, is that they utilize neuro-linguistic programming, predictive programming, showing you pictures that imprint subliminally or not into your mind that you will later act on or accept easily, depending on what the PSYOP, the psychological operation, is. In this case, the picture or the neuro-linguistic programming, the predictive programming, was written, displayed, painted in a pictographic form, a pictogram, which is a few small pictures that tell a story. In 2002, the American deep state instructed the government to change the dollar bills so they could change the pictures on the dollar bills, what you see, and instill a black magic, black sorcery pictogram. This pictogram will imprint subliminally into your mind for a whole year off of the dollar bills. Now, when that happens, people give a lot of energy to the dollar bill. And what happens is you empower the black magic to occur, because everybody who is giving power to the talisman, the black talisman or the black magic pictogram, everybody who's giving power to the source of the idea or the ideology, to the event, is taking a part in the implementation of the event via energizing this event. So I'm just going to show you on the camera. Follow me carefully, folks. The dollar bills in 2000 were altered so that across the dollar bills from then on, only the paper, the bills, not the coins, there will be a pictogram, a picture story of an event that will occur in a year. And the people giving energy to the dollar bill, to the money, the people who energize the money, which is everybody, because we're in a monetary society, we all give value to money. Those people are energizing the event that is on the money.
Sorry,
No.
could you just brighten it up a little bit, Storm? Maybe on
Yes,
the on the note.
I'm going to do that. Just excuse me. I'm just going to switch the light on. Just one sec.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, it's very, very, and honestly, people, this, I know it's nothing to do with Nicola Bulley, but this is so important that we need to get it out there, even if it's on repeat, because this just goes to show how deep the programming goes. And these notes have been changed, as Storm says, and you can go look it up, and they did get changed for this particular reason, we believe. And this, carry on, Storm.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
I'll prove it to you. It's not a belief, it's a factual. I'm going to prove it to you factually. So what I'm holding in front of you is a photocopy of a $5 bill. Do I have the $5? I do. Slightly expanded. The actual $5 bill is probably a bit smaller than this, but it's slightly expanded for you to see, and it's a photocopy. But that is the exact picture on a $5 bill. You're welcome to check it. Everybody in America will know what I'm talking about. Now, folks, let me show you how a PSYOP works, and I will explain what I believe about it at the end. These notes were created in 2002 for the 2001 PSYOP known as 911. They were created to draw a pictogram on as an artist draws on a canvas picture to gain an effect. And this is how it was done. Very, very ingeniously. Watch carefully, folks. Do you remember when we were younger and we made paper aeroplanes? We used to fold them like this in half, the paper, and then we would fold it down, down, and then we would fold it down. And then if you remember the next fold, you would fold it in, and then you would fold the wings out, and you have your paper aeroplane. Everybody remember? We used to throw them out of the highest building possible and see if they would work or not or glide. Okay. So we retract that paper aeroplane. Remember, the weapon in the PSYOP was an aeroplane or two. So we're going to retract that from a total aeroplane just to the form of an aeroplane, also being a pyramidical form. What you find on top of every single Masonic building, the triangle or the pyramid.
With the eye
at
the top?
With the eye on the top, correct. But here's the thing, folks. When you fold the $5 bill in the exact format that you fold to make a paper aeroplane, the weapon so-called used in the PSYOP, you come up with a picture.
There you go. The buildings, even with the ferment, for those that believe in the ferment.
That's what you're looking at.
Let me just get a picture just to show the representation of that, because I think it's important that we see that. Storm, 1 second. So, bear with me. So, if you can just show that again, and then you should be able to see what you've just showed represents, and you can actually see it, can't you? Without a doubt. Is that what you're showing there, Storm? That's what you're showing.
That's what we're showing.
Cool. So we can all agree.
That's it. We're showing the towers. I think you're seeing a bit of smoke. If you look carefully on that right-hand one, in my one, it could be exactly that picture. You see that on the right? Looks like a bit of smoke. On the right-hand side of my one, looks like it's mimicking that picture perfectly. There's certainly 2 towers under the firmament there and a few other buildings around. Now, that is on the back. Or on one side where there's a back or a front. So once you fold the $5 bill in the way of the so-called weapon, the aeroplane, you get the buildings. And when you turn it round, and this will become relevant, you have a space then and an indication to the dome.
Yeah, the ferment, for those that believe that we don't live on a spinning ball, which is another massive psyop. You know,
But this will
it's
become
there.
more obvious. Literally, watch that space. Soon, another part of the PSYOP known as the pentagon will appear in that space. So I'm going to show you again with the $10 bill. Remember, that was the $5. We have a 10, 20, 50, and $100 bill. Watch closely, people. This gets interesting.
It's crazy.
Here we have the $10. You can go and check these. They're all original. We're going to fold it in exactly the same way. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it forward like we're creating an aeroplane. And we're going to move it up so that you can see it. There it is. Look carefully.
Boom.
What you're looking at is two towers on fire.
You can see it plainly, can't you? Without a doubt. And if you want me to go and present a picture just to show that
Yep,
that is the case, just to verify that what you're showing when they're on fire, and I think that represents that. That's quite a good one. That's when the plane's just hit, and then one of them was on fire, and
that's
then
it.
you've got the one here as well.
That's it. That looks more like it on the right there. That's it. We
Yeah,
got it.
there you go.
Yep,
That's
yep. That's the
so.
one.
I think we can verify that that represents the towers on fire.
As close as damn it, they say.
Yeah. So just stop screen sharing that and go back to you, Storm, so that we can get you in full screen. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
So
All yours.
I'm imagining, folks, at this point you're starting to go either, oh yeah, I remember that, or OMG. Well, we're going to step that up to a double OMG. So when you turn it around, I told you to watch that space. That's the Pentagon on fire. Look at the different levels of the Pentagon. Look closely. That's your Pentagon.
See, we can find a pentagon. Let me just show this, Storm. 1 second, just so we can screen share that as well. It'd be interesting for us to verify it for myself as well, just to check that what we're seeing is very similar to what you're showing. And I think
good.
Is that new enough? Damn it!
Yeah, that looks pretty close. Look at that. How many? Look at those build there. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's pretty close. That's as close as it gets, Daz.
So it's spine tingling, isn't it? Things like this really, it's home, doesn't it? So,
folks, I told you there's a pictogram on the dollar bills. Bear with us. I'm going to show you more. We're only on the $10. We just got started. Hang in there.
Shows yours, brother.
Here we go. Now this is, you can see there's greening because that's one of the more original color photocopies. The others are black and white. There's obviously color in the dollar bills, but it's expanded as well for your perusal so you can see. Again, on the $20 bill, we're going to fold it the same way. We're going to fold it forward, always keeping the same pattern. You cannot change the pattern once you have a PSYOP exposure. The pattern needs to be exactly the same, identical every time. What do you see?
I see the buildings off, burnt down now, collapsing. The buildings are collapsing.
Yep, that's one of them on the right is more advanced in the collapse than on the left. What do you say, Daz? Do you see that?
Yes, I do. The one on the left to me looks more collapsed than the right because one did go down before the other, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was always one was hit before the other.
Just understand, folks, when Daz talks about left and right, we're in opposite. So when I say the right, he says the left. But you can see the one that is more burnt down and the one that's standing a little higher. It's got less burnt at the moment because it got hit after.
That's supposed to have been the evidence of it anyway, wasn't it?
So they say.
The narrative. Yep.
And when we turn this around, what do we expect to find? Obviously the Pentagon, don't we? Advanced in its collapsing.
collapsing, which we've showed,
You just
where it's
showed that
all,
picture.
and it's even got the hole where the plane actually
You want
hit in the middle.
could you
Let,
show that picture?
yeah,
Yes, please, Daz. Please,
let me go
Daz.
and
Again,
uh,
exactly that picture of the
let's
burning
go and,
Pentagon collapse. That is it there. You can even see that block.
okay, let's have a look, see if we can find, and let's have a look. There's a better one somewhere. Let's have a look. Where are we? There's a
That one,
really
yeah,
good. There's a good one. I mean,
yeah,
that's a good
there.
one.
That's it.
That's almost identical, even to the point of burn, even the black burning mark, isn't it?
The lower black burnt mark. Yep, exactly. Compared to the
Yeah.
upper fire. This. Yep.
Wow. So,
Folks, this
these are
is how you expose a PSYOP. Okay, this is a psychological operation. We are exposing the evidence. We're only got to the 20. Here's the 50. Prepare yourselves for the end result. Same. We do the same process every time, folks. We have the 50. Is that the right way up? Yes, it is. We're going to fold it the same way. We're going to fold it forwards and forwards, just like the other one. And we're going to turn it up, just like the others. And we're going to show you. Yeah, you have smoke.
boom.
Everything's down. Almost ground zero. We're nearly there.
Yep,
There's a little bit of building left. You can see it.
it's
It's
gone.
burning. It's
They've
mostly,
gone.
yeah, mostly gone.
You can see that it's fire smoke.
That's clear.
You'll have people debunking it, just saying, "Oh, it's just you know, it's just plain and clear, isn't
Daz,
it?" If
if you have eyes to see, if you do not have
yes,
eyes to see, I cannot help you. Real
no,
eyes or real lies, it's up to you. Real eyes or real lies.
you can see the
Look,
building with windows.
that's as
You
clear as
know,
day. They're
yep.
missing. They're gone. They're
Mm-hmm.
gone, folks. They're gone.
But
And
you can
that's
see
the
the other
50.
buildings as well, though, Storm.
Yep,
If you just go in there, okay, it's
clearly.
upside down, rah rah rah. But you can see what they've done, and it's very very clever, isn't it? Could it be AI produced? You mentioned aliens. Your thought was, and we mentioned AI technology. You know,
So that's where we're getting to, folks. What is the production? I'll show you the final note on the 100, and then we will adventure down exactly what causes this effect following the same protocol, same idea. Ground zero, and you have a puff of smoke in a serpentine wisp.
let
Looks
me
like
see
a
if I can
snake.
find that. Let's have a look. So, and there's a few pictures here. Okay, I'll just go over to screen share while you hold that
Good one.
up. Okay, just bear with me 1 second. Screen share that to that. And okay, there's a few here. I mean, there's one there, isn't there? That's just devastated there. It's just devastated. But I'm trying to find one that relates to
Ground zeros were the end.
yeah, I mean, let's have a look. Oh, there
Just
we go.
smoke. Yeah, that looks like the one before from the 50. I'm just going to put this one forward again, where you had that bit of rubble at the bottom there. Where are we at? There we go. At the bottom of the buildings there. Look there. That looks
Even
like that.
to the when I say the windows, these here, these where I'm doing the red, that
Yeah.
is on the note. You
Yeah,
can't
there it
deny it,
is.
can you?
I'm showing
There they
you.
are.
There it is.
To detail.
It's detailed.
That's
Yeah. It's
you
crazy.
know,
How did they know? It's advanced.
so yeah,
Really
it's
advanced.
yeah, it's just it's very crazy, isn't it? And
Yeah.
you
And then
showed
when
me
you
that
flip it around, there's the last bit, the Pentagon. I'm showing you in there. That's the final ground zero of the Pentagon is also
1
there.
second. Sorry, Stone. Let me get you back on solo, brother. 1 second. There you go.
Yeah, just
Let's have it.
showing that was that side of the
Yep.
wisp of the ground zero, and turning it over, we've got the Pentagon. You can see the last bits there.
So if you can imagine people like those images put in one of those books, like, and you illustrated it and you're turning the pages just of those shots, and you didn't know it was a note, and you just used those illustrations to illustrate the event, and then you put the note around it, you'd be like, whoa. If you took the note away from it and just used the illustrated images, Storm, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That would just be mind blowing, wouldn't it? In a way.
If you played that in a, as you said, in a rolling picture, that would be you would see it, tuck, 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 tuck. You would see it coming down, being demolished. Did I say that?
But yeah, before we do end, let's just see if we've got, it's great. This is we're doing different things, aren't we, Storm? We're trying different things,
So
and just doing something different.
The point of that, the point of that explanation, the point of bringing up what happened 23 years ago is a PSYOP, folks. Is to show you how a PSYOP actually functions in the real world under black magic, which is what is running this world. Unfortunately, we are in a spiritual war. It's a war of principalities and powers. That is found in Phoenicians, I believe, not Psalm 23. I was incorrect last time. But the fact is, it says the war is against principalities and powers. It's not against flesh and blood. And that means we are not fighting each other on a material form. We are fighting each other on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level. And what we should be doing is seeking resonance, peace, not dissonance, disharmony. And that's what we have at the moment across the plane is dissonance, cognitive dissonance, brainwashing, neuro-linguistic programming, predictive programming, everything that shouts at you, advertising, buy this, do that, an authoritative, predictive programming to coerce you into doing something. And it comes to the question, what would do that? And more so, what has the amount of power, intellectual power, to create a pictogram, a pictured event across the dollar bills, the money, knowing it'll be energized and used by the people of an event a year down the line, and then carry out the event, but it was already all drawn out. It was basically the plan was literally drawn out across the notes, but you didn't know. So you were deceived by the black magic of these black magicians running the show, and you knew nothing about it. And in fact, you played a part in it because everybody who dealt with the dollar bills energized the project.
You touched it and it was in front of your eyes, just like a magician does your trick. It's in front of your eyes, but you didn't see it. You didn't see that card being slipped away, did you? And that's what they're doing.
Sleight of hand known as misdirection. They misdirect you and want you to see what's happening here. Look here while we're doing something here. But the point of a PSYOP, is just simply to manipulate you into cooperating with an event. And in the case of 911, it was what we know as a human sacrifice on a grand level. There was approximately 5,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, and that is what you call a large human sacrifice. That was a psychological operation, a black operation, and that's a lot of the time why the active military don't know, because it's not a standard operation. It's called a black op or a deep black op. So it's like 2 jumps away from your standard military. Totally different people involved. Exactly like your government is MPs. You may know some of them and speak with them, but the deep state, the elite, are totally removed. They're nothing to do. They just send down the authoritative instructions. They are not part of these groups like the government. The deep state is not the government.
Sorry, just getting back to the situation you just showed, that was to get the public's interest at heart to go in so they could actually take over and do what they actually did. So that was a psychological opera to a military precision, wasn't it, Storm? Getting
To
back to
military
how it,
precision, you're right. To precision, yeah. It was very
um,
precise, Daz.
Jane says wonderful truth, and we're trying to do that. We're trying to just be a little bit different. We're just trying to, because I think a lot of people are interested in it today. A lot more people are awake and in tune to it, Storm, I've noticed.
Don't be humble, Daz. This is the channel for truth bombs.
And also Maria sent some pictures now. We've got them, Storm. So, we will get back to the Nicola Bulley, and we will try and debunk, and we will try and, tick off the boxes of the other narratives that the channels are talking about. And please, channels, if you're out there, come and join us for a debate. It'd be great to have everyone together and chatting about it and having a friendly debate. If you want to,
exactly,
we can have two of their channels to two of us, so it's equal. So it's it's all fair. It'd be great for everyone to hear everyone's opinions and work as a team, work as one, collective mind.
get discussing as adults. Trish had a brilliant point there. No, well done, Trish. Nice one.
So where was that, buddy?
Full respect. She was just saying, never, what was it? Never took the jab, never took the test, never wore mask, never got sick. Exactly.
No. And what was he saying? You can't travel. You've got to have it in case you go and see your mum in care homes. Now, have said that they never actually said that, so they're backtracking, just like the Nicola Bulley case. We didn't say that.
They're
retracting. Retract
is exactly backstep, backsliding. Let's move. Let's reverse. Put it in reverse, guys. We're in the shit. Excuse the French. Trish, exactly. Myself included. In fact, purposefully, I went, which I usually do, into a rebellious state, and I am very much known as the sort of outdoor barefoot trainer anyway. I teach a lot about meditation, grounding, nasal breathing, etc., how to get in contact with nature and draw the energies and the good things from nature, etc. So I went all out on a mission while everybody was covering up to expose myself, and most of the time ran around in a pair of shorts everywhere all the time during, of course, what was known as lockdown periods, particularly, in a way to rebel and to prove that we're not going to tolerate this and we don't have to. And whenever I had incidences, I intellectually explained my way around them with the authorities. And unfortunately, there was never a possibility for them to take any action once you know your true status in Commonwealth as a free citizen. Common law, not Commonwealth. In common law, under common law, as a free citizen, you can then go about your business in the way you choose to do, and you don't have to be authorized under
your
some
humanity
PSYOP.
rights.
Your human rights. You can carry out your basic human rights.
And someone saying, show us the pictures, please. Next week we will, Storm. We will call the show debunking. Let's try and debunk. That'll be interesting, eh?
Which pictures are Lisa referring to exactly?
I think she's, because people are saying they're sending these pictures. I'm assuming that they want to see the pictures. I think so, Storm. I don't know, but please, Lisa, let us know. We need to check, make sure there's an email on the channel as well. And I must say, everyone's been so polite and nice, and we haven't had much. What's the name, have we, Storm? To be fair, not much negativity, which I'm really grateful for.
We never attract that. So, Daz, what is there a particular picture? Can we show any picture without any information around it?
I'd like to know which picture. Has it been sent to you, Storm? Has it been sent to me? I'm not too sure, brother.
Well, why don't we deal with the bench, Daz? The bench pictures we prepared.
The bench pictures. Okay. Okay. The ones.
What do you think? Yeah.
If you want to, I mean, do you mean the one where?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Let's bring those three bench pictures up and speak about them.
Okay, I was just going to go through the questions as well. What time are we wrapping up about, Storm? Are we going on for a little bit?
Up to you. I'm good. Is everybody good out there? I can't
Yeah,
see chat myself, so I'm not sure of how
let's
it's
just.
running.
I mean, there's loads of. Oh no, Storm! I've just like scrolled down. This is what we do, isn't it? We go back. I've got actually a
Pop the
list of
questions up, Daz. Pop them up. Pop them up. I'll try and answer them. As you look for your pictures, I'll try and answer them. Banner me up. Banner
I
me up.
can't do both, brother. I can't do both. Sorry
Help.
about that. We need an AI.
We need an AI.
But it says
Don't you
everyone's.
start.
Let's have a
That's
look.
a joke, folks. We don't want AI. Jeez.
Just these questions. There's so many.
Okay, let's.
That hurts. That's the person that brought the bench up about it being stolen on
Brilliant.
eBay.
So let's deal with that in a minute. That's good. What are we saying here? I'm not sure what you think's in the background of that photo of Nicola with the trees on one side and concrete on the other, but it's just looks like it's the edge of a car park in a country park. That
Could
is
be.
that
That's a
could
good
be.
point.
That is a question. So
Good point.
that's what we're asking. Is that what's happening? Is that just the edge of a car park and her head is just obscuring? Because it doesn't look like it, especially when you look at the detail on the one tree on the right. It's a detailed tree, and the tree on the left is just a grey, just
Should
a
we
piece
have a
of
look?
grey.
That could be the pictures are on about, Storm. Should we have another look at those pictures?
Please bring them up for sure, Daz. Of
Okay,
course.
let's. Okay, brother, 1 second. It's so odd when the chat's gone past, and you're getting deep diving, and it's so much information to show and disclose. Just bear with me 1 second. So let's go back to the pictures. So could this be the picture? This is the one, not the one with the concrete. Let's just see if we can find it. Where is it? Let's go back. There, this one, isn't it? This. Oh, I see. So it could be a car park, and then it's country. I understand. Very good. This is what I mean, Storm. This is
I can't see it,
brainstorming
Daz.
between us. And it's screen sharing. Sorry, 1 second. Let me go back. Let me just make sure that's screen sharing again. 1 second. And then go back to the picture.
Yep.
1 second. So
You're good, Daz. We're there.
So it will be the one with the car park, won't it? There. Can you see that one?
Good, Daz.
So as
there we go.
Quite possible be that could be a car park.
A cul-de-sac, as it were, a car park. Yeah. Okay, so if you drop that picture a bit, you come down a little to the top of the picture so we can see the top.
Is that okay?
Is there any more? Is that it? The way it cuts off?
And that's
I'm sure there was a little more of it. No?
Okay,
Can the picture roll down? Can it come down?
That's it. That's all of it.
Okay.
So,
could you then expand? You see on the right, it looks like a tree. Your left, there where your cross is, that looks like a tree. I can make that out as a tree, no? A tree trunk, yes?
Yeah, definitely. It looks like a tree. Yeah.
Okay. Swing to the other side.
Yeah.
And let's focus in on that. That doesn't look like a tree. In fact, it doesn't look like it's in focus at all.
Very strange. I get that this could be a car park. This looks very concretey, and that could be a pavement.
Yes, and it could cul-de-sac, and it could end there behind so-called Nicola's head. That's quite possible. But what I'm looking at is the two sides of the imagery. One looks low res, and one looks higher res.
This one looks low res. Is that right?
It looks higher res. It looks like it's more defined to me. That one.
Okay.
And on the left, yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at. What am I? Can we expand it? What are we looking at? What is this? Is that another tree?
That's all I've got. That's as far as we can go in, really. Without getting too, out of goes too pixelated.
Let's try another thing. Let's look at the ground. You see on where you're showing now, the ground there, the grass. So beyond the little car park's ledge, the grass there. That looks dull, a low resolution. It doesn't even look like grass, does it? Looks like very low resolution of a picture of grass. Am I correct?
It looks like a lawn that's been mowed.
but
very.
not a very well detailed lawn. I can't really see it much. Can you?
No, and if you zoom in, it obviously goes out of. It's very strange. It's funny how some of it, like here, is in focus. Obviously, you've got portrait shots, isn't it, that you can
Okay.
do? It's
So,
just
Dad,
very.
stay with me. The way you were on the grass there was vague. It hardly looks like grass. Difficult to make out if that is actually blades of grass. But if you swing back to the other side
1 second, let me just pull out that. Yeah.
and you look at the ground,
Yep. That.
you can,
Yep.
yeah, that's ground. It's brown, and just
Yes,
beyond
I
is
see what
more
you.
green, and there's
I'm
grass there, and I can see
see
blades
what you.
of grass. I can see rocks
There. I see what you mean. It's more detailed.
everywhere. The whole side of that background is detail. I can see what looks like to me grass, shrubs, tree, rock. On this side doesn't look detailed in any form or manner. It looks vague and under resoluted. They look like two different images or image resolutions. I may be incorrect.
It's very strange, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
You
odd.
know. I mean, I know you can get portrait pictures and you can do all the filtering and everything else. It's just,
Maybe we're
I
wrong,
don't
but
know. I
there it
know, mate.
is.
It's good that we've got this chat and get everyone involved. It's brainstorming and getting people to help us to, rationalize things a bit, Storm, because we can get a bit close to things, can't we? At the end of the day, as well, buddy. We get close to things, and it's good to have other people's opinions. And I also
Definitely.
find that that the detail here on this on the CCTV camera, CCTV here is very good quality on this one. It
Yes,
seems
that's
to
quite
be,
good resolution, isn't it?
because look, you've even got, is that stiletto, or is that? Well, no, that's just a line of the brick, isn't it? But no, it's just very. I don't know, but we'll do this, won't we, Storm? We will have a look at all this in the next show when we do the sort of debunking thing. So
Definitely. Have you got those benches, Daz? Seeing as though we are
yeah,
on that question of the bench going missing.
okay, let's get
Or
them.
we're just
Yeah.
playing around with that one, folks. It's quite funny. Whether that happened
Um,
or not, I don't know. It may.
and then you've got this one, haven't you? Where we were going
That's
to
it.
look into the.
So we've
We're
got
going to
three
look
pictures of
into.
the bench, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got that one,
So
and
look, folks, let's hold that picture, Daz. If you
yeah.
look down at the bottom of that picture, folks, you'll see in loving memory of Barbara Roscoe. Roscore. There may be Roscore. There may be something or Roscoe. Anyway, the fact is, remember that there's a brass tag there, in a loving memory of brass tag for Barbara, and just above it, you see a very 2D, meaning a flat looking, somewhat inscription, perhaps a fleur de lis or two eyes over each other, or two versica pisces, which is a type of oval form, which you're seeing there, the shape of an eye. It's a sacred geometrical term. But what you're seeing, folks, is there's nothing pronounced. Everything looks flat, like there's nothing
Hmm.
embossed or pronounced off of that bench. So just focus on that for a moment. Look at what you're seeing. Then we'll shift to that's the front view of that bench. Am I right, Daz?
It is the front, yep, with the
Front
plaque.
front view of the black.
So, and then we've got. Let's go back, and then we've got obviously
So
the famous picture.
that's the back, yeah, the back of the bench.
But the quality of this picture as well, it's really strange that this quality of this picture is so good. But then you look at you go into the 2 and 3, and it's very pixelated. It's very strange. I wish someone had come on about photography and explain how this happens, because it's funny how one picture can be very good. I know there's different types of camera, but what did CM use to take this picture? Because it's damn good, isn't it? It's 4K quality.
But that's
Very
maybe the
good picture.
thing, that his pictures and other people's pictures from outside of the PSYOP will be good, and all the PSYOP pictures are low res, and because they're part of the PSYOP, no?
Or the ones that are in the PSYOP are good. Is that what you're saying?
No, are not good. They're low resolution, so they can confuse you. But anybody from outside of the PSYOP will step in and take normal pictures. There's no need to obfuscate the pictures or obscure the pictures. You want good pictures because you're going to present them on YouTube, no?
Yeah, it's just so good. But that the 2.3 is very pixelated. Are you seeing the zoom in there, Storm?
Oh, yeah, there they're pixelated. That's
You know what I
interesting.
mean? Why is that when the rest of it isn't? Look at
It's not
look at this.
pixelated.
Yeah.
Interesting. Perhaps that's exactly
Mm.
pixelated in. Maybe that's over. Yeah, maybe that's not real.
It's very odd, isn't it? You know, these are questions that I would love someone to answer as well. You know,
I have to point
um,
out the symbol, the Masonic symbol in the arrow. The arrow is a Masonic symbol. If people don't know, it's there's the triangle at the top of it,
red,
and
red
yeah,
as well.
and in red, the color. So that's very important. So the front of that bench is what we were looking at a minute ago, or the front of a bench, which is what we're going to try. So this bench, you can see it's there. There's the what we were looking at 2D. It's all flat. Looks like some sort of symbol, perhaps the fleur de lis, perhaps not. Who knows? But if you zoom out, Daz, that bench had ribbons on it at one stage. There's other picture of that bench with ribbons on it. So that is the bench that is present at St. Wires, St.
And
Michael's.
also, Storm, we mentioned about these artifacts here. It looked like, I thought it was blue tape when I first looked at this on my phone. I thought, oh, that must be the blue tape, the one they fenced off. But it's very, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's obviously an artifact of the photograph, isn't it?
So these strange
You know,
things
so
appearing that shouldn't be there, folks. It's sort of shows some sort of tinkering with something. That line shouldn't really be there.
I mean, I know you can get refractions of the sun
Looks like
and
two
light
lines.
refractions.
There's two
Yeah, but there's
lines
two.
there, one above the
Mm.
other.
So all
So
these things are questionable, aren't they, Storm? At the
very
end of the
so.
day.
So when you show the third picture of that bench, is the third picture. There's a third bench there. We'll show the difference between the two benches, the front of the benches. You got the
Do
embossed picture there.
you want me to go back on them?
Yes, please show that third
Okay.
picture.
No way. Okay, 1 second. So, um,
So that picture.
go back. That one.
Boom. So, folks, there's the bench with the ribbons on. So, you know that's in real time with the gold ribbons. Keeping in mind, gold is the Masonic color. You had your lady with a pram with a gold anorak on. If you want to know where that part of the PSYOP is from, it's from the movie It, with the clown that preys on children. Remember the movie It? Well, IT stands for, what does IT stand for, Daz?
IT, intelligence.
It's tech, isn't it? It's
IT, yeah. It's
yeah,
everything to do with tech, isn't it? IT. Intel,
exactly.
I'd say, I don't know if it's intellectual technology, something technology, isn't it? Something I think.
Anybody who knows what IT stands for, send it to us. But IT is simply about technology. It's your computers, your phones, the whole IT scenario. You have IT technicians, and the point is, the movie It, referring
Yeah.
to IT being AI or GPT, that is the It connection. So you've got the gold anorak of the lady. If you just bring that picture back up, Daz, I'll talk about it in a
Oh,
second.
sorry. One
You've got the
second.
gold. You've got the picture of the lady with the gold anorak on, pushing the pram. The witness had disappeared. That's a reference to the movie It, and all the gold ribbons are reference to the gold color that you see through the Masonic Society in all the gold, literal gold and gold ribbons.
As in the coronation as well that we just saw.
Correct. That was completely obvious, all the gold there. So just to show you how the lady with the gold anorak on, the red, yellowy gold anorak pushing the pram, that witness had disappeared. is the reference to IT and bringing in the reference to the AI and the PSYOP. And this bench in front of you, I'm sure you've now seen while I've been talking, has embossed. The symbol you're looking at is not the symbol you were looking at. So now we either have two different benches, although if you look down below, you can see the brass plaque there to Barbara Roscoe.
Let me just, what I'm going to do, there's lines as well, isn't there, down there like that.
Well, that's because that's embossed. So you've got two emboss on either side with like a void between the center, which is probably the sun and the moon. But we can't see close enough. But what we can see is that it's not flat and it's not like the bench you showed before. If you flick back, flick back to the other picture,
I know
you
where
can
we're
put
going
them
with that
together.
now, Storm. Yeah, it'd be nice to put them together. That is not the
not
same
what you were looking at.
That.
Not
That's
at all.
embossed. You can see the 3D depth to it. Is that correct, Storm?
Correct, absolutely correct. And even to the left and right, there may be some form of emboss just there on the left, not just the main circle, but on the left and right. And then when you go to the other bench, it seems like that embossed has been removed there. It appears like the embossed has all been removed.
It's different,
or is it totally another bench? This is what we're asking.
It's weird, and obviously you've got the plaque there. That's again,
we can't see. We can't see if that's Barbara Roscoe's plaque, but there is a plaque there.
So strange, all this photography. And we know that these chatbots can actually, if you ask it to produce a bench, the Nicola Bulley bench in the scenario, the chatbots will give you an imagery. It's all possible. That's what we're getting at, isn't it?
100%. The AI can change the bench without actually somebody physically changing the bench.
So, there's loads more questions here. Looks like the view from the top field. I think that might be the pictures.
All right, yes.
Let's just go through. Very perceptive. Yeah, my thought, they all look fake. So it's not just us, Storm. Other people this is good people. Let us know, if you can see it as well, please. Exactly. If you can't, let us know as well.
Again. We'll have to show you again or find a different way. Let us know. Definitely let us know.
Where are the school camera photos? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a very good question. Where are the school camera photos? Where's the CCTV from the parking lot in the school? Which is generally why you have CCTV, to look at the parking lot, no? To watch the cars.
I know the children might be involved, but we know that it's been on. They've used it, and even they've used where they can blank the children's faces out. I've seen it on news reports and things on TV.
Of course,
documentaries. So it's possible. Hang on. That Haiti was the one who mentioned the sun is low in the winter, and the second photo, Nicola, so it's giving an orange glow. It's called a golden hour, the best hour to take a photograph. Yeah, so that could be giving the effect of the different color of the her hair. I said that then to Storm. We mentioned that.
Yep, absolutely.
We both agreed on that.
Good one.
So, Tricia again. I have birth certificate and a sister. That might be. Do you want to read that one out, Storm? I need to go. Speaker.
Yeah, Trisha's saying I have her birth certificate and her sister's. So Trisha's saying that I believe that she has Nicola Bulley's and Louise Cunningham now. She was Louise Bulley's birth certificates. I hear you,
Storm,
Trisha.
I'm just going to leave it with you, but I just need to visit
pop off,
the bathroom.
No problem.
Okay,
sure, all good.
Nice one, buddy. Sound, and I'll just put you on so you can just take over a little bit. There you go, bud.
Yep, sound. Yep, very good point. Trisha, if you have the birth certificates, maybe you could let us know where you got the birth certificates from. If you, I imagine you pulled them off of a freedom of information. It is somewhat freedom of speech, freedom of information request. If you did get them off a Freedom of Information request, we need to keep in mind that in a PSYOP, those would have obviously just been one of the formats of the production. So obviously their birth certificates would have been made available. So this is what I'm saying, folks. Yes, um, it could be that these are real people, but equally, it may not be that they're real people. To develop a birth certificate for a PSYOP is very, very basic for GPT. And what we're referring to with this AI and with this GPT is that, and the example on the Mind Blowing channel, a little pre example before the show, we put it up a couple of days ago, was the 3-minute demonstration of GPT and its functions and its abilities and what GPT can do. And if you just after the show or later on, just pop onto that little prerequisite there and see what GPT can do. And basically, what it can do is within seconds, asked to create a blockbuster plot of a movie for 2024. Within seconds, the whole plot, the whole script is developed. So, no director needed. And then it's, of course, asked that all the characters that it developed in the script, could they be, could we see them in full color, full function, full picture? Could we see an illustration of these characters? And GPT can do it in seconds. They can just bring up GPT can just bring up all the characters and the whole script and create a blockbuster movie fully available in seconds.
It's possible. Storm, I'm going to have to start wrapping up the show, buddy. I didn't
Don't worry,
realize it was.
where we at? We're late.
Well, it's 20 past 10.
Okay, I got you.
So
Yeah,
7, 8, 9,
definitely.
10.
Well,
So what we're going to do, Storm? Are we going to have a look, see if we can put this together, like like a board of possibilities, and have a look. We'll go through all these questions again, like we did last week. We were going to show the questions, but the show just ran off with itself, didn't it? Storm, we had the questions from last week.
We've
to
read them
read
all.
out.
We've read them all. We've actually, you probably had them. You sent me the email of all the questions that we were going to cover.
Yeah,
Daz,
yeah,
we have a list of them, folks. But we just haven't got to all of them. We'll attempt to get to them over time as we move through. We'll try next week. Of course, we can start with a good couple of them, and
I
try
tell
and
you
get
what,
through them.
Storm. What I mean, Maria's brilliant. She's helping so much. Shall we ask her if she wants to come on the panel with us and present? I'd like her to present her findings if she wants to. I think it'd be
You're welcome.
nice.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of
What do you
course.
think? Rather than us showing the pictures, she can explain her findings. I think that'd be great.
If she
If
wants
she
to,
wants
welcome.
to.
A lot of people, look, folks, if you want to come on, you've got something to share, let us know. Contact one of us, and we see how it goes. We're going to have a lot of guests on. It's not just about us chatting on these things. We need everybody's input.
Yeah,
So that's where we're going with this. It's an
I
open
think so.
discussion of discovery.
I think it's great, Storm. But again, really enjoyed it, buddy. We could sit here, but I really need to start shutting things down a bit. It's getting a
Truth,
bit late.
Daz. Truth, Daz. It's the weekend's
But
over, and tomorrow's
it's
Monday.
yeah, wait day, back to reality day.
Yeah. Truth,
But
Daz. Truth.
it's great to explore the mind, isn't it? You know, some people might think it's a bit far-fetched and all that, but in reality, Storm, it's not, is it? You've proven the notes have been designed years and ahead. You know, if you look, you can see. You know, and we've
Correct.
kind of showed that.
If
So
you,
any
yeah, if you
final
have
thoughts?
realized, Daz, you'll realize the real lies.
Any final thoughts that you want to share, Storm,
Look,
before next show?
just no disrespect to Nicola Bulley and family. If Nicola Bulley is a real person, and I am saying that again with full respects because we don't know, there isn't a shred of evidence yet to actually show the physical existence of this person. There's no CCTV. There's nobody in the park. There's nothing. There's nothing, folks. We have absolutely zip. which usually shows that we're not dealing with a real event, or else the real event has been very professionally dealt with. In other words, there is no evidence. Um,
And
we're we're open to both those sides of things. There's some questions
yeah,
coming up there, Daz. What were they saying?
sorry, buddy. I just wouldn't be able to accept it until I knew what
Me too.
happened.
Me too. Go through a few questions just to finish
Okay,
off, Daz.
quickly.
Agree.
Okay, if anything jumps out, as the pictures were released by the police to us, and is not what Rainbow Storm is calling underground citizen. If not, I'm sorry. So, don't understand that. Sorry, I don't. The pictures were released. Oh, I see. Are they on the internet? Is that what he's saying, Harry? Sorry. Maybe Storm. Is that what's being said? Is that what he's saying, referring to? We'll get back to that one after the
Not, I'm
show.
not sure, but if they were released by the police, and they are, then we can release them. Of course, if they're just public pictures, then we can just release them. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we
So
have to
we've
verify
got
that again.
Nicola Bulley. Their birth certificate that has some info about. Yeah, this is all good, isn't it? We need all this information, you know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to wrap it up now, Storm, and say goodbye, and till next time, and God bless.
Definitely. Oh yeah, and to all the folks, any information you have is brilliant. We're not closing down any side. We're opening up
No,
discussion. We're offering what we see and looking for what you see.
yeah, we're not just saying that we're stuck in the psyop. That's not our lane, or that's where our thoughts are. If there's proof that there's the other way, then we'll accept it. We're open to the possibility, aren't we? We're just talking about something that a lot of channels aren't talking about, aren't we, Storm? In a way,
The thing
trying
is,
to make.
Des, what we're saying is very valid. We Anybody can present information all day long. Well, we at this point we need evidence and facts, and we need real people to present themselves, and in this case, like family members, we need something real now, folks, because at the moment we don't have anything.
I mean, if someone, Rachel, she says that she grew up. Come and have a chat to us, please. If you feel up to, if you're comfortable, get on the mic and have a chat. And we can just have you popping in and out a chat, can't we, on camera? And be nice to hear some real voices on the case about it as well, Storm. Do you think?
Yeah, but even, and I'm not debunking anybody. That Rachel, your comment is excellent. 10 minutes from I know people that knew her at school. So exactly, the folks that knew Nicola Bulley at school, maybe they didn't know her since school. So that's a long time ago. I know that, for instance, I'm not connected with anybody. I know nothing about anybody at school whatsoever that I used to go to, and perhaps it's the same. So
All right, buddy. So respect, big love to everybody. Thanks for tuning in as always. And me and you will speak very soon. Probably catch up tomorrow, Storm, and start working on the next show, which I'm looking forward to. Actually, it's going to
thanks
be
to yeah, nice one, Daz. Yeah, thanks
go
to
go.
everybody. Thanks to everybody, all the viewers, everybody who took part, all the information. We're not dissing anybody's information. We're very
No,
open. I in fact would love for somebody to give me some concrete evidence that Nicola Bulley is a real person. She has a real mother who is really looking for a real partner, who's really looking for a real children, a real sister, a real father, and they're all really concerned out there in the world looking for her, contacting people like us who are trying to help. None of us who have been contacted by any real members of the family. So-called Sky TV contacted them. Well, that's a multimedia channel who also showed you a false route that Nicola didn't walk.
so
So,
contradictory there again. It's all
so
contradictory.
we've got to be open, folks, to the real truth, and that means we need material truth. The
And
informative truth is not out there. It seems like obfuscated, misdirected cognitive dissonance to me.
we'll go through all this in the week as well. So good night and God bless. Thanks for tuning in as always, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks to all, Daz. Thank you to you, mate. See you again. Cheers. Big love to all.